DJ and graffiti had grown, B-boy and knowledge, the pillars of the game, but a six emerged, adding to the flame. Comics and hip-hop, a fusion so tight, visual storytelling, lyrics that ignite, from the pages to the beats, a seamless blend, the sixth element, where two worlds transcend.
Welcome to the Sixth Element Show, where comics and hip-hop flow. Reno and Stu guiding the way, bringing you the culture every day. Welcome to the Sixth Element Show, where comics and hip-hop flow. Reno and Stu.
What up, what up, what up? Sixth Element of hip-hop, Sixth Element collectibles. What up, man? This is the show. You know where we at. I'm Reno Noir. This is Stu Dog. We got a good one tonight, too. What's up, Stu?
Peace.
We got a good one tonight. Well, I tell you, we got the new Aliens TV show, a series, an alien show called Alien Earth. We got Predator Badlands, new movie coming out with the main characters are like a predator that looks remarkably human. And this is all coming up and boiling up to this Alien Predator crossover event that no one's talking about, that they've not yet mentioned or they've not yet talked about. But we see the Easter eggs. We can point out the little things that tell us and let us know that they're bringing these two together. They're building up to something. So we're gonna break that all down for you. Now, Star Wars has been knocking, just dropping some fire lately with Andor and all that good stuff. Now, back in the day, they did a little little animated mini series called Visions, and it was all like anime samurai type Jedi stories, right? With these samurais and ninjas and with lightsabers, and it was just this really cool take on the fact that Star Wars is really, based on samurai shit. And so we loved it, fell in love with it. It was amazing, blah, blah, blah. Vision Season 2 comes out. We're so excited. Oh, man, we can't fucking barely hold ourselves content. And it drops, and it's like the lamest, wackest nonsense. Had nothing to do with Visions 1. Wasn't no anime. Wasn't nothing good. So we were let down. Well, now Visions Season 3 is coming. And guess what? It's going to directly continue from Season 1. The same anime, the same style, the same samurais, all that good stuff we loved about Season 1. It's coming back for Season 3. So we're super happy about that. We're going to chop that up for y'all. We got Biggie Smalls has a new tour in Brooklyn. They tour his house and all his stomping grounds and all that. Is the Biggie life. Biggie Smalls' Life and Legacy in Brooklyn. We'll check that out as well. Andor lore, baby. Andor is coming through with the lore. Andor has, I remember in Season 1, they dropped the hint about the Rakata. Now, the Rakata, most people have no idea what I'm talking about. Because the thing is, if you didn't read Star Wars Dawn of the Jedi, I'm so glad I hung on to these. And they're making the movie now. Star Wars Dawn of the Jedi. Yeah. It's a whole series, and it dates way back to 25,000 years before Luke Skywalker and basically the birth of the Jedi, the Sith, all of that. And there's this race of evil dark side invaders that predate the Sith, way nastier than the Sith, called the Rakata. And they are the big bads of the Dawn of the Jedi series and that whole thing. And of the whole, galaxy back then at that time. Well, everyone got real excited. Everyone that knows about that comic, everyone that's a deep Star Wars fan, everybody, like us that really are into the books and the comics and the side stuff. When Andor Season 1, when they were walking around Luthen's little antique shop, and there were some artifacts there that came from the Rakata, everybody lost their shit. Everybody, of course, that is super big nerds, like me. And that was it. Well, Season 2, episode 3, I believe. Yeah, episode 3. They dropped another Rakatan artifact on us. They came out at the wedding and they brought that big statue that was this big gift for the bride and groom, and it was a big statue from a temple that was recovered from the Rakatan invasion or something to that effect. And they mentioned the Rakata again. So that is one Easter egg that they dropped. We also have learned since then that there has been other eggs of Easter, eggs in which, about the Knights of the Old Republic. So we're gonna get into all that, man. There's all kinds of good stuff. Ahsoka season 2 confirmed to include 9 Star Wars Rebels. Lots of major surprises and season 2 storylines. We've got Avengers Doomsday set video backstage behind the scenes revealing a spaceship crash site. And I'm talking like X-Men shit, bro. This shit really looks like something right out of X-Men Legends video game or something like that, right? Or right out of the comics, or maybe. And I think it's the X Mansion. If I'm not going to be mistaken, I think it's the land, the yard, the courtyard in front of the X Mansion. But anyway, we're gonna check that out, man. I can't wait. Fantastic Four getting a comic book prequel. Yes, the First Steps movie. They gotta back it up with something. Marvel's Thunderbolts movie finally reveals the main villain's look. We're gonna check that out. And other than that, man, I got some cool surprises and tidbits that we're gonna get into if we get time, man. But hey, without further ado, man, getting on to the main topic, we got Alien Romulus' sequel, Alien Earth, and Predator Badlands crossover is coming soon, and sooner than expected. I think first Dan Trachtenberg delivered an unexpected and brilliant prequel to the Predator franchise with Prey. We were just talking about Stu. Prey was dope, right? That shit was hard, bro.
Yeah, it was.
And so Fede Alvarez directed one of the best entries in the Alien saga, which was Alien Romulus, and both under the banner of Disney, which many people believed would be the death of both franchises, as it has been the death of many a franchise recently, or at least the brutal battering of a couple of our favorite franchises. But following the trailer for Trachtenberg's next movie, Predator Badlands, which features an alien Easter egg in the form of Elle Fanning's android character. So the characters you see in our thumbnail, that main character, she's a droid that we're used to seeing in the Alien stuff. A Wayland Industries tech, right? Wayland Yutani Corporation. And yeah, and she's all like the main character of Predator Badlands. Well, this kind of hints at a inevitable crossover of the two franchises. And now we drop the new Alien Earth show at such a convenient time. But yeah, coming from Jeff Snyder on the Hot Mic podcast, so you can accept this with a nominal amount of disbelief for now. But Alvarez's Romulus sequel reportedly will feature a Predator in some way. So, in other words, the Alien show, Alien Earth. Now, Alien vs. Predator movies of 2004, 2007, I mean, it's not something they've never done before. But while it was given that a sort of convergence of the Alien and Predator movies would happen, especially given that Disney's love of IP universes and the success of Warner Brothers and, the legendary Monsterverse, the idea of it happening so soon is unexpected and quite a surprise, but possibly not that surprising considering comments made by both of the directors, Fede Alvarez and Dan Trachtenberg, working together on Alien and Predator movie, maybe a co-directing going on. I don't know. Prey and Alien Romulus became two of the best movies in the respective Predator and Alien franchises. A lot of people say so, and immediately revived the interest in both of those IPs. So along with the upcoming Alien Earth series and Trachtenberg's Predator Badlands and the animated anthology Predator Killer of Killers, let's not forget. There's plenty of fan hype about what could possibly come next. And last year, Alvarez addressed the possibility of working with Trachtenberg on a combined movie, saying, maybe it's something that I have to co-direct with my buddy Dan. Maybe we should do like the Tarantino and Robert Rodriguez did with Dusk Till Dawn. I'll direct half and he'll direct the other half. Dusk Till Dawn was amazing. Tarantino and Robert Rodriguez, they are not, but I would it's not something that's not possible, man. It's something that we know already works. Now Alvarez he's already teased that his next Alien movie will enter uncharted waters and will go a place that the Alien franchise has never gone before, and to discover things that you've never seen before. And quote, end quote. And so while Trachtenberg is yet to address any possible crossover, and no one has mentioned it yet, 20th Century Studios boss as Steve Asbell previously suggested that any Alien / Predator movie would have to happen organically. Quote, he said, it wouldn't be in the way you think. That's the thing. Not in the way that it will just be called Alien vs. Predator or anything like the original movies. If we do this, they'll be organically created out of these two franchises that we've continued with characters that we fall in love with, and those characters will combine, perhaps. But we haven't gotten to that point, and we got to bang it out. So, Stu, I mean, what it is like, I don't know, like we say it all the time. You got to love and care about the characters. If you don't care about the characters, you're not going to care about the story. It's just that simple. And it's the most basic trope in writing, right? So instead of just, oh, we did a Predator movie. Oh, we did an Alien movie. Now let's do Alien vs. Predator movie. No. Like, there's a movie that had Predator Badlands, Predator Prey, Romulus, and there's characters that they develop over other movies, shows, and we follow these characters. As we follow these characters in their respective franchises, now we learn to come to care about these characters. So when these two characters meet, then it's created that organic crossover instead of just made two movies, now make a third movie with the two monsters. It's not going to be that way anymore, which is cool. I think it's about time that we get some I'm going to say more comic book like Predator and Alien movies, because the comics are obviously way more.
Yeah, they dig deep. The comics dig deep. Like at the end of the first Predator movie with Arnold Schwarzenegger, we don't know what happened to Dutch. We don't know. Like we know the Predators move on because they made another Predator movie, and he fought Danny Glover after that. We don't know what happened to his character after that. Then you had Predators. After they killed we don't know what happened to those characters. Then we had the Predator, where they had the suit at the end, and they gave you a story and showed you, that the military or this secret military organization had an advanced prototype suit that was given to them by the Predators to fight the Predators by a rogue Predator. And they just don't continue on with the stories. And when they do, they're usually in a comic or something like that, or some offshoot Dark Horse thing that just doesn't get the publicity where we can go in and read about it and see what happened next. That's Predator's main flaw. We love the Predator, and they never tell us much about the Predators in the movies, the species that they are, the different levels that they are, as far as hunting and things
all
like
that
that.
shit
Because
in the
all that,
comics.
all that in the comics. Yeah, so they don't really develop or dive into that too much. They give you a little glimpse and then they cut you off, man. So they got to give us more when it comes to the Predator.
Yeah,
And you named it Predator, so give us more Predator and give us more diving into their lore.
yeah, I agree. And this is the Predator movie right now, and this Predator movie, I mean, I was like, yo, is this like as soon as I seen her, I'm like, for a second I was confused, and I was like, it made me think because I was like, that's an alien. Like, no, I'm used to seeing these droids in alien movies, and we're not used to seeing these droids in a Predator movie. Well, this is a Wayland. Now, if you know anything about the Alien franchise, Wayland Yutani is that company. Wayland is the guy. It goes back to
Whaling Industries, yeah. The first alien movie,
Prometheus.
Whaling Industries. Yeah.
Yeah, and it
Well,
goes to
that's where they dive
Prometheus.
deep into Whaling. Yeah, they dive deep into
Yeah,
Whaling Industries
to the to the
in the
to the
first one. Yeah.
origins prequel. Yeah, I love Prometheus because it's I'm a lore nut, and I love when they make a movie about the shit that we heard about in the movie and wondered about from the movie. You know what I mean? Like that's what Prometheus was. It was you got to see everything that you kind of imagined must have happened to create the aliens and all that. So, but yeah, as seen in the official teaser trailer, Predator Badlands, Elle Fanning's incoming character is far more than meets the eye. During a sequence in the Fanning, Tia is strung up alongside her other victims. Her eyes glaze over with the logo of Wayland Yutani, and that's what that is—a little W thing there on her eyes. So that's the way. So letting you know, this is a key fixture in the Alien franchise, whose presence in Predator Badlands tactically confirms the ongoing crossover between the two. Let's see if we can steal a bit of a peek of what they're talking about, y'all. Sort of slow it down a little bit, um, and get an eyepiece. November 7th. Okay. Okay. Director of Prey. Yes, sir. There she is. Got his weaponry. But this is what I like. Like this reminds me of the comics, like all this weaponry and like gear. Like, yeah, there was gear in the movies, but that's more of like that stuff on his arm there. That looks more like what we see in the comics than what we ever saw in the 80s movies.
Well, this has got to be more futuristic because
Can you see what I'm talking about right now?
yeah, yeah, this has got to be more futuristic. Because if they're going by the name Whaling Utani, that's that was later on after that's after the Ripley saga. Yeah, Whaling Utani. I think yeah, that's after Ripley. That's after Alien
Well,
3.
no.
So, Whaling,
Well, Ripley,
so
like
Whaling,
Prometheus is
but
before Ripley.
I know that, but I'm saying Whaling Utani because when unless they fix that because in the beginning in Aliens and then Alien 3 it was just Whaling Industries and then later it
Oh,
became
the
Whaling
Yutani was
Utani.
added later. Yeah,
Yeah, that was added later. So like if you're
yeah,
looking at this right here and you're going by the Lord, this looks more future. Like look at his wristband because on the other Predator
yeah.
it was a little bigger. This one looks more futuristic. So this looks like their tech
Right,
has
more
the future
advanced.
tech of their tech. Yeah, it's more advanced. Because when you watch Prey, his tech is advanced, more advanced than the guys in the 1700s, but it's less advanced than the Predator Arnold Schwarzenegger fought.
Oh, right. That's dope. That's dope. And that's what I mean by like that's how the comics do.
Yeah, this
And
is my first time seeing this trailer. It's
not
been
really.
popping up on my yeah, I haven't watched it. It's been
Oh
popping up
wow.
on my Google feed, but I haven't watched it.
Well, there's the Predator dude. Everybody's complaining about because they say it looks too human.
It looks like it. Yeah, it do look more
Very
human.
human. Yeah. It's supposed to because they're trying to make this a character that you can relate to and care about.
Or Reno. Wait a minute. Let's let's
Look
let's
at that
let's
bad boy
pause
right
that for a
there.
minute. Wait a minute. Let's pause that for now. We know Wayland Industries was trying to. If you saw Romulus, they were trying to take the DNA of an alien and crossbreed it with a human. So maybe this is what happened. And then we know the predators were trying to crossbreed their DNA with the alien DNA from Romulus.
Yeah,
I mean,
this might
not
be a
Romulus.
predator mixed with a human.
From the predator, and you know what I mean. So that might be a predator mixed with a human,
Yeah.
and that's
Yeah.
why it looks like that. Now we know that the predators, when they tried it, it didn't work. So everything that's mixed with predator DNA is an abomination to them.
But you
So
realize that's still the writer doing that so that they can make a more human-like predator, so that the
oh
audience
yeah,
can relate to it. That's what I'm
oh,
saying.
100%.
Yeah.
And that's what they try to do in the movie The Predator or Predator or The Predators. That's what they try to do because the predator that hunted the predators, that Joker was huge. He was like some type of hybrid predator
Yeah.
that the regular predator just couldn't mess with. I mean, he was just stomping Jokers out like he didn't even care. Like
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
was
And
like,
then
he
that
was it was
and Predators, the one with Adrian Brody, had that giant one. That was
oh
fire.
yeah. Now they
He
were
fought
rogue
the giant.
predators. Now
Yeah.
those predators, I had looked that up because I was fascinated with that movie. Those are
Yeah, there was
rogue
two.
predators,
Yeah.
and
And well
they
they had captured some, like there was some bigger predators that captured some smaller predators. And that was dope. I was like, oh, now they're showing different breeds, different races of the predator alien. I forget what they're called. They it starts with a Y. It's slipping
they
my
call it
mind right now.
yanchas. They call it yanchas.
Yanjas or something. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, they call it
Yeah,
yanchas.
yeah. So there's different races or different breeds. There's bigger ones and smaller ones.
Yeah. Well, they have a hierarchy. So the smaller ones you see, they're because I looked a lot of that up because I was confused after watching that movie. I was like, wait,
Why?
what's going on? So because it was just so many different species that we never seen, they don't explain it. They just show them and then that's it.
Yeah.
So
Well,
when
it
I
kind of. I
started
mean,
looking it up,
you kind of can tell. I mean, they kind of imply that. Yeah. But yeah, no, they don't talk about it.
no, they don't talk.
They don't know
You have to
shit.
imply. Nah, they don't.
People don't know
So
shit.
nah, they don't. So you gotta, I looked it up and I found that those predators are rogue predators. So they didn't hunt in the traditional way that the predators hunt, and they brought those people and other species of whatever they could find to that planet to hunt them, and to take join it, but they weren't doing it
Yeah.
with honor. So that was the difference.
Yeah. Yeah. They were doing it for sport.
Right. Instead of for honor, like they do it for.
Hmm. There's the
Yeah,
droid.
look at
There's the other.
look at that. It's hard. Look at that
Watch this.
Is that a predator? Is that a dog or is that a predator?
Watch. Ain't no dog. That shit is huge, like a fucking size of an elephant, but it's more like a big ass monster. Yeah, that shit's hard.
Yeah, I can't wait to see that, man.
Badlands. So, yeah, although Wayland Yutani is not mentioned by name in the 1979's Alien movie, the company's name and logo can be seen on numerous set pieces, written as Wayland Yutani. Oh, so it was Wayland Yutani in the 1979 movie. We just didn't hear it because they never said it.
Mm.
The company has
Yeah,
come to
because
play. Yeah,
because they always said Whaling Industries. It was just Whaling
yeah,
in those first three movies.
yeah. Well, it says the company's come to play a greater and more prominent role in the franchise. Continued as the franchise continued, so much that it is now quite possibly the most indelible part of the Alien franchise. Hang on, let me let Raw Talk in the building. Raw Talk, salute.
What up? Salute. You back on the stream, yo.
Loaded.
Yo, I can comment now. This is wonderful. Word up. How y'all doing, man? Hold on, let me
Chilling.
get myself together. I just came back from the movies with my sons. We was watching the Minecraft joint.
Oh, that was dope.
Yeah, it was pretty dope. You know what I'm saying? Your average for it's not better than Sonic, but it's decent. You know what I mean? And my little one, his birthday, it was part of his birthday gift because he turned 10 and stuff. He wanted to see it, so I was like, "Yo, let's go to see Minecraft. You want to see it? We go see it."
Yeah,
Boom. You know what I mean? So we just got back from that, so it's just like,
that's what's up, man.
It was decent though. It's definitely something cool. Them long last lines though, bro, for the pizza and all that stuff they wanted.
Yeah.
But,
Well, we're talking about the Alien. Okay, so the new Predator Badlands has a character in it that is a Wayland Industries droid, which is from the Alien franchise. So they've got an Alien show coming out called Alien Earth. They've got the Predator Badlands coming out, which is all sequels of the Romulus and the Prey movie, building up this universe. And we are speculating here. We're talking about, we think that it's leading up to a crossover, and I think it's inevitable at this point once we've seen this droid.
I mean, the crossover, they did it with Alien versus Predator regardless. So
they've done that before, but before it was just like, okay, we did some Predator movies, we did some Alien movies, now let's do a movie with both of the monsters in it. This is going to be more of, there's characters from this new Alien franchise that you're going to start to follow and grow to care about. Characters from the Predator that they're going to grow to follow and care about over multiple movies, and those characters will organically meet and make it more of like an MCU type crossover.
Yeah, I mean they're giving you that over again, but remember, Predator 2 already dropped dimes on that. You know what I'm saying? On the price. They're linking it. See, the catalyst for everything is the Predator 2 movie.
What, with Danny Glover?
Yes, that's the catalyst. Because remember when he was
break it down.
When he was on the ship and he was battling the Predator, and you seen the skulls in that room. You seen the alien skull.
Yep.
Then after the movie, at the end, my man tossed him the gap. That was from 17 something. From the Prey
that was from the Prey, because that was 17 something.
So that's the starting point from everything. Even though the reference from Arnold was in it also, because remember when old boy said, "Yeah, my man in the jungles, we found him. He told we've been following this creature since then."
Right.
So, but the Danny Glover movie was the catalyst for all of that. That's what brought that world together originally. But
but I remember
that's pretty dope.
I was so excited when I seen the Danny Glover movie because we got to go on to the Predator ship and see the skulls and the whole thing, and like that's what made me my wheels start turning and start thinking about their planet and their hierarchies and their whole culture, and like I want to see more of that shit. And then the pistol came out.
Let me kick something else that people might not seen there too. You seen a dinosaur head, right?
Yeah. Yep. Dinosaur skull.
If we had a still picture, if we had a still picture of that wall, can we get a still picture of that Predator wall? Because there was a lot of skulls on that wall. I think it was a Wookiee. There was a Wookiee skull on there. There was a Ewok skull on that piece.
You're gonna see
everything
stuff,
on there,
man.
Yeah, it was some wild stuff on that wall, bro.
Yeah.
There was a skull. There was a skull of what's your name on there too. Luke Skywalker. I mean, there was a bunch of stuff.
So when you're dealing with space, man, and they can theoretically take all the space movies we ever seen and join them together, due to the fact there's different galaxies and different things. Just like E.T. E.T.'s part of the Star Wars. It's part of Star Wars.
Yo, he's a fucking Jedi, son.
It is though. I'm laughing, but it is though. Yeah. There was an ET. There was an ET head up there.
But there was ETs at the conference when they ruled on the what was it when she said, "Oh, now this is when something the empire falls or something like that or something democracy falls." And
yeah. This is how democracy ends.
Yeah. When she said that,
right.
Yeah. And then the ETs were there, and then I forget there was some other aliens there, but I couldn't quite make them out. But they're from another movie franchise. But I gotta watch it again.
Men in Black, I think.
Yeah. See, some of those characters in Men in Black is from. Yeah. See, you peeping game.
Yeah.
And they do it, because Disney does it a lot. If you watch their movies, they add references from other, like in Hercules, when you see that. Remember, Hercules fought the lion, and he got the impervious pelvic that he wears. That's Scar. That's Scar from the Lion King.
That's crazy.
Right.
That'd be crazy.
When you it is, go back and look. It's Scar from the Lion King.
Okay.
When you go back, it's Scar. Then when you got Moana. Moana makes a lot of references to her being a deity, and her grandma being a deity, and her being related to what's his name, Chaku or whatever his name is. And you start thinking, you're like, wait a minute, damn. And a lot of references back to the first movie, things that if you didn't pay attention, and then you look at the second one, The Secret Life of Pets, another one. Disney has there's a lot of little Easter eggs in Disney movies that tell the future of other Disney movies that are to come. But you got to pay attention to them.
Bang.
Yeah, now look at that. Look, you got that right there. See the skull right there with the two things sticking out? That's from
Oh, talking about this one?
No, the one at the top on the left hand side.
Over here?
Yeah.
What's that?
That's Star Trek.
Okay.
I forget what that's. Yeah, that was in the movie. What was the name of that? That was in Star Trek.
That kind of looked like that one movie where they was in a museum and they came to life. I forget what movie that's called.
There's your dinosaur right there.
Yep.
But it's not that doesn't look like an Earth dinosaur.
That's not an Earth dinosaur. That's an alien dinosaur.
That's an alien. Yeah.
We're gonna get it though. They crossing over. Disney loves the crossover. Warner Brothers love the crossover.
Yeah, no, that's all it is. I mean, it's inevitable, man.
As a kid, when I seen that wall, my brain went crazy because I was like, yo, the alien. We kept rewinding that joint back and back. I'm like, yo, they fought the aliens, B.
Yeah.
Yo. And I couldn't wait. And I was like, and then I had to be like, probably what, 10, 11 or something like that, 12.
I was 10. This was 89, I think. It had to be 89.
Yeah, so I had to be 90. So I had to be like 12 going on 13. And I was like, so that means they're gonna do an Alien versus Predator type movie. We was talking about that, and then
15 years later.
And I was like, oh, but I really want them to really get busy, man, with the I mean, Prey was dope. One of my favorite movies out of the franchise.
Prey was hard. Prey was really hard. That shit dope, man.
I like
especially when he was in that camp killing all those he was killing all them French dudes. He was tearing them up, right? Yeah, he was rocking them jokers.
And then I seen where the gun came from. I was like, yo, I like stuff like that. Little pieces. I had that comic. I sold that comic. That's
me too.
Made me some good money off that comic.
Yeah.
It's valuable. You know? But yeah, man, I'm telling you that this is a solid franchise. I mean, they had some missteps, maybe. I enjoyed everything. You know what I'm saying?
I love how Prometheus brought it all together, bro. That's what I love, man. Prometheus, that movie to me was it. Like once I saw that, I was like, oh, I'm into it. And I started doing research. And that's what I started realizing the connections and putting it all together. And Prometheus was really, if y'all don't know, man, Prometheus really fucking ties it together.
Yeah, if they do the Terminator versus Predator versus Aliens, that'd definitely be a dark horse type move with them. Soze Mania. Yeah, Soze. Kaza Soze.
Yeah. And they could.
Yeah, man.
Predators and aliens come back after the future when the Predators or when the Terminators are running shit.
I mean, you know, they could do that because I mean, technically they do movies like that with Player One. That was crazy.
Right.
Yeah,
when they combined all the franchises.
They combined it a lot in Player One, yeah.
Yeah, that was pretty tough.
Yeah, he did a lot, but it was tough. They got a Player Two coming out. It's called
there was an engineer skull on that wall. You're right, Slade. He said there was an engineer skull on that wall. Yeah.
Oh, right. Yeah. From Prometheus. Yeah. Soze Mania, salute.
Oh, don't forget what's your name skull. Don't forget what's your name skull was on that wall. King Willie.
King Willie.
Who?
Yeah, King Willie. King Willie in the Predator 2 movie. The one that
King
was like,
Louis?
there's no
Oh,
stopping
with the
what can't
dreads,
be
with the
stopped.
dread. Oh,
No
yeah,
killing what can't be
the
killed.
roster, yeah,
Yeah, remember you saw him put his head on there. Remember
Oh
when he cleaned
yeah.
it off
yeah,
and he stuck his
yeah,
head on. He stuck his head on the trophy wall. Him and
Can't be
Jerry
killed.
Lambert. Yeah,
yeah, King Willie,
and
yeah,
Jerry Lambert's head is on there too.
Yeah.
That's the two human skulls that you see on there. He cleaned them joints off real quick and stuck them on there. Yeah, because the Jerry Lambert was Bill Paxton. Remember, he was like, "Want some candy?" when he was shooting him on the train, and then he threw the ball. He ran out of bullets, so he threw the ball at him. Then you hear him
Man,
screaming
shout
like,
out to Bill Duke.
"Oh!"
Shout out to Bill Duke. That's my Predator Duke. I'm gonna have me some fun. I'm gonna have me some fun.
yeah.
Speaking of Predator, did you know that they didn't want the guy that played Billy? They didn't want him in the movie. Like I don't know what it was with him.
What?
Like he had a reputation of being wild and reckless.
Billy
No
could have
lie.
fucking led that movie.
Arnold was the one that brought him into the movie. Arnold, if it wasn't for Arnold Schwarzenegger, he would have never been in the movie. They had to have bodyguards on site and all this other trash. But
He was a real
his
gangster.
lines, that's what I heard. But Arnold was like, he's gonna be great. You know, Arnold, he'll be great in the movie. We have to get him.
We need the big man.
so
Big.
I was watching I bought the Predator Blu-ray, the 4K joint, and I was watching all the featurettes on there. There was a lot they went through with that movie, man, that I really didn't know about. The girl Anna that was in it, she wasn't supposed to be in the movie. Arnold was the one that had them put her in there and bring her along. And she was the one that seen him. And Arnold said that wasn't even in the script. They had to like improvise that and put that in there. When what was my man's name? That died. I was like, I'm gonna have me some fun. His lines were improvised. Bill Duke. Bill Duke did 2 improvised things on his lines when he did the one where he was talking to him about when he shot it. That was improvised. They added that. They actually filmed it and was gonna cut it out. They said Arnold was like, no, leave it. It will be great. We'll leave it in there. And he left it in there, and it was bad. Jesse Ventura, when he was like, I ain't got time to bleed. That was improvised because that was supposed to be cut out the movie, but they didn't. They offered Arnold Schwarzenegger $14 million to do Predator 2 before Predator 1 was even finished filming, and he turned it down. He was like, nah, the time ain't right. The timing ain't right. And Jesse Ventura said he was like, yo, you're not gonna do it? He was like, nah, the timing ain't right. And Jesse was like, I would have did it for half. You could have gave me $7 million and I would have did it.
But he was murdered in the
Jesse
film.
Ventura is no Arnold. That's why
Like,
Arnold Schwarzenegger is fucking genius, bro.
And plus,
Yeah,
didn't he
but
have
yeah.
Junior? Didn't he did the twins right after
with
the
Danny
Predator?
DeVito.
Yeah, he did twins right after that. Yeah.
And that was a mega hit.
Mega hit.
Yeah. I don't know what he doing, man. You know,
Yeah, bro.
And
He
it gave Danny Glover that move, that nod to be a, you know what I'm saying?
Then it opened him up for shit like Kindergarten Cop and fucking Jingle All the Way and fucking those are the blockbusters. He made mega fucking money on.
It's solid. It's a solid movie to me. I really like it. You know, just because you didn't have many lead black actors as heroes. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you had your Action Jacksons and shit like that, but you didn't have main dude.
And Danny Glover, let's be honest, is nowhere near as exciting or popular as Arnold, and so that's why the movie wasn't as received and as popular.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
But it meant something to me because I was like, okay, now, you know what I'm saying? I mean, if he had Carl Weathers, but Carl Weathers died. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? But
Carl Weathers was another person that Arnold selected. They said everybody that was in that movie, Arnold selected them one by one. Like the people that got
they were his bodybuilding homeboys. He wanted big bodybuilders in the movie. He specifically wanted everybody. To look like
but everybody that is a bodybuilder in the movie plays specific roles. The minigun that Jesse Ventura used, that was actually invented for the movie. That's not that was and Jesse Ventura. He bought Jesse Ventura in because he said of his expertise because Jesse Ventura is a Navy SEAL. So he said he bought Jesse in for that to help them, train and look like a real commando team. Yeah. And then he bought in Carl Weathers because he said at the time Carl Weathers was still, big in shape. So he wanted somebody else like that in the movie. And that was Dutch. Bill Duke, he bought him in because he said Bill Duke had that, you know,
Well,
just
he
had that
worked,
look like he
he
was
worked,
tough. Like
but he worked with Bill Duke on the Commando.
yes, he did.
Remember, he
Yes, he
worked
did.
with Bill Duke
Yeah.
on Commando.
Yeah, that
So
was
yeah,
that
man.
was my favorite. Commando was my shit.
Oh hell yeah.
Yeah, Commando was a good movie, bro.
That was a lot of
It hit.
action lines.
Yeah.
They
Said you
say,
wasn't gonna
Yeah,
kill
stick
me.
around. Yeah, he hit him with
I
the
lied.
hit him with the knife. Yeah,
he said, what happened to what you got? I let him
I
go.
I let him go. Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm like, yo,
let
this
him
guy's
go.
great. Yeah, man. Yeah, man. I don't know that just the franchise alone, though. Back to it. I mean,
Yeah.
a lot of people have been giving fuss about the appearance of the alien because it doesn't match up with the previous alien. But you got, I mean, no, the predator.
Oh,
But
right,
they got to understand that there are different species within the predator
yeah,
clans.
right.
There's different species, different strengths, different skill sets. So, you know, we didn't get to the aquatic motherfuckers yet.
Right.
We didn't get to
Yeah.
those predators yet. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So
But
it's
see,
like,
Predator. Arnold said in the thing that I watched, he said that when he looked at the script of Predator, he thought it was a good idea. But he said at the time, a majority of scripts that he read like that were rip-off movies. And so he said that, you know, he was like, you know, I had to have a talk with the producers, and I told him like, y'all think this gonna become a success overnight? And so he said they sat down, like it took them a whole weekend, but they rewrote most of the script because he said they had read that Stallone did the Rocky, that's what Stallone did with the Rocky movie. That he took it and then he added himself into it and did some other things, and that's what made it, you know what I mean? And
yeah,
Predator was one of those scripts he said that he read. And he said that it bothered him, you know, in one way that it was just one alien and him. Because that was originally what it was supposed to be. Just
Mm,
him and the one alien in the woods going after each other. And he was like, when I read the whole thing, it would have been better with like a team of commandos. Like he was like,
yeah,
so they
yeah,
rewrote it with a team of commandos, and he was just picking them off one by one, like just picking them jokers
yeah,
off.
yeah.
And
Well,
so
they
he
kept
said,
the dynamic of him alone fighting the predator in the woods at the end.
yeah,
at
Remember
the
at the
end,
end, he covered
yeah,
himself
at the
in
end,
mud and shit?
yeah,
That was
yeah,
a condensed version of what the original movie was going to be. Him setting
yeah.
traps and him like being hunted and
Mm-hmm.
just the one-on-one. Yeah.
Yeah,
yeah,
that
because he
movie
said
I
he liked
watch
it,
every year.
because he, yeah, because he
Every
said
year
he
I
liked the
gotta
idea. See, Arnold was in love with the idea of it starting out to be an action adventure, but then
watch.
becoming like a horror science fiction type film. But he believed that when I was watching the thing, it said he believed that he thought it would make a much more effective movie and more believable if there was a commando team in it
Yeah,
instead of
yeah.
him just in the woods fighting, you know, fighting just a predator like by
Yeah.
itself.
I think if they wanted to expound, let's say if they wanted to stretch it, let's say okay, they were dropped in the jungle and had to fight the gorillas too throughout, along with that predator. That would have made it more chaotic and fun. But the way they did it was just classic because you had those set personalities within those characters of the commandos themselves. Like Billy, he didn't fear no man, and when he said, "Billy, you fear no man," it's not.
Yeah.
He said, "There ain't no man out there."
He
There
said,
ain't no
"Ain't
man out
no
there, bro.
man."
And then when
Yeah.
Arnold turned and looked at him, he's like, "Motherfucker," yo, like what?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So
Because
it's like,
yeah,
and then the relationship
originally,
between Bill Duke and Jesse Ventura, they're like close buddies that serve together in different, missions.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So you got that knit team that's close. They're surviving together. They did missions together.
Mhm.
They're brothers. So
Yeah.
they're picking off family members technically.
Right.
So I think that's
yeah,
what made it so tight. It was those guys in the beginning. So you felt it like, yo, every time they kill somebody, you want somebody to go after the predator so hard. You wanted to get him to get his.
Man.
So that's what made that
right.
movie, man.
Yeah.
Watching the snippets, they were saying that Jean-Claude Van Damme, well, Arnold, this is what Arnold said that Van
Oh,
Damme
it's
was,
Predator. Yeah.
they wanted to be the predator. They wanted Van Damme to be the predator. But Arnold was like, yo, Van Damme was only like 5'9". Like,
Mm-hmm.
if you put him in the predator suit and I stand up, I'm taller than him, bigger than him. So he was like, we need somebody that's more opposing. But the producers wanted like a ninja, like agile, like figure to be
Yeah,
jumping around
it's
like
supposed
he's
to
hunting.
sleep.
And so yeah, Arnold was like, no, we need somebody that's physically tall and all. And that's when they came with Kevin Peter Hall. And when
The
Kevin
brother.
Peter Hall
Yeah,
took the
yeah,
role,
yeah.
yeah, that's what he was. They was like, once they put him in a suit and got him all, then the producers were like, you know what, that is much more menacing.
Well, a lot of
And
people, yeah,
you
people
know,
don't
so
really realize the Predator is massive.
Yeah.
He's
they're
way
big.
bigger than a person.
Mhm.
Yeah, he's way bigger than
Yeah,
the average human.
yeah,
And plus,
yeah.
they were
Because the average
probably
height of
thinking
a
about
predator is 6 feet.
yeah, and
Yeah,
they was probably thinking about the alien, being that the alien would move rapidly fast and was sleeker. You know what
yeah,
I'm saying? And getting back to the alien. I mean, I get them all mixed up now. But with the alien movie, the first one was tight. Second one, classic, phenomenal. Because then you also had a set of troops, the Mega Marines,
yeah. Space
family
Marine.
members. You
Yeah,
know what I'm saying? They
Yeah,
had their issues and they were getting picked off by the alien. So it was those franchises had this similar recipe.
mhm.
You know what I'm saying? So you could look at it and say, okay, the Mega Marines, they came first with that idea of having a tight-knit group, of different personality, Marines, soldiers at war and whatever. And then you come with the Predator, has similar. And that works for everything. If you look at those movies that have groups of people surviving together, it always works. Look at the zombie genre. Every zombie flick that got a group of people trying to survive together and they're getting picked off or got different that works. That's the recipe for a successful movie.
Yeah.
Period.
Well, like yeah, like the zombie movies, the zombie genre was always just about the zombies being the big threat, and everybody was just running around trying to survive and getting picked off. And then Robert Kirkman flipped it and made the zombies basically a background obstacle, and the whole thing was about the people, and the biggest obstacle was other people.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
that
That's
was the real.
survival.
But this is the Alien series that's coming out on FX right here. It's called Alien Earth.
Okay.
And this is dropping right. This is about to drop here, and this is what we're gonna see. Hopefully, some Easter egg or something relating to the Predator world in this too, because this is the next Alien franchise that's coming out, or the next thing in the Alien franchise that's coming out. And yeah, we got some aliens in some looks like some lab tanks there. And then looks like one is loose, or maybe the DNA or the mom.
Yeah,
And
because
then,
that ship is a Predator ship. Am I correct?
I mean that's what I don't know. Is it a Predator ship? It could be. It's somebody's ship bringing aliens to
somebody
Earth.
should
And
could be a whaling industry ship.
it could be a
Because
whaling industry ship.
could
It
be.
could be a future ship.
That like a predator ship right there.
It looks similar to a
Right
Predator
there.
ship.
That
It
like a predator
could
ship.
do.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
remember in Aliens versus Predator, when they go over the history of these gods that they call them the Aztecs, they were gods and they worshiped these gods, and then they had these they would have these aliens for a contest. They would have to, for their best predators to pass, they had to hunt down these aliens. Remember, they went backwards and said about these predator and the aliens relationship, and then they said when shit got out of hand, they just blew everything up. That's how the Aztecs disappeared, because Mega Blast had obliterated the whole civilization because it was overran with aliens.
And that's how they had to kill. That's the only way they could save everything.
Yeah,
so wipe them out.
Yeah, so that in itself was like, okay, so that's the history. So are we going to get the series coming from that point of view, or the series are set in modern time and it's happening all over again?
I think number two. I think the latter, because when you watch Alien Romulus is set like that. Like they find us, like when I went and seen it, they find a ship from back in the day, or I guess, or whatever, and they go in there to steal tech, and they wind
found
up
the
finding
first
out that it was a ship. Right. No, not the first. It was a ship that they were using to experiment with the aliens on,
But
so
Ash
they don't
was on
contaminate
that
nothing else.
But Ash was on that ship.
Yes, Ash was
The
on that
robot.
ship.
So the Ash, so that was from
But
their
that wasn't the Ash. That wasn't the one that we originally. That was a different one because remember, they're the same android and they share
Yeah.
like a cloud mind.
It's
So
crazy.
when
Yeah.
remember when he took the chip out of this, they took the chip out of the one robot and put it in the robot that they bought with him. And
yeah,
then
I
the
know,
other one
but
was
the
talking to him.
Ash
So
protocols. Because remember, the only
He was like a
droid.
clone of the clone droid of the dude from Prometheus.
Well, when we
well, they
Magneto
share like
guy.
a cloud. They share like a cloud existence. So
Yeah.
whatever he knows, it's uploaded into the whaling cloud
Right.
or whatever. So all the robots share it.
okay,
But you got to
New
have a certain
droid.
clearance.
mean,
You got to have a certain clearance because remember that other droid was a lower droid. He was just like them, but he didn't have the clearance or the brain that they had. And when he stuck the chip in him, remember he had to upgrade, and it took a while. But then
see,
when he finally got the upgrades, he was faster and all that.
yeah, but what I was looking at was how that droid was damaged similarly to Ash. See what I'm saying? The guts and stuff. Because remember, he was over there spitting up and he was all messed up. His whole half his body was done, right? So I was looking at that and I'm like, hold up, that ship looked familiar to me and all, you know what I'm saying? So, but it could be like what you said. It could have been another Ash model or what have you. You know what I'm saying? Because it definitely wasn't Bishop. It was definitely Ash.
Now, it wasn't
But I'm
Bishop
like,
because remember he said that they did create. Remember he told the girl to take the vaccine because he actually wanted somebody to take it so he could see what kind of effect it would have on a human. And the pregnant girl, he's like, "Yo, take the vaccine. It'll help you survive." And remember, she took it, and the other girl said, "Don't take that," and she took it. That's how we know it wasn't Bishop because he said he was there experimenting on him.
Yeah,
And they finally came up with something that would help the humans fight the aliens.
By infusing them with the alien DNA.
Yeah, make using it right. And when the girl took it, it backfired. It ain't do nothing like what he. But I think he did that because he wanted to see what it would do. Because they had no humans to test it on.
Yeah, because
right, and they had no humans to test it on.
Yeah.
So when she had a baby, that baby was born different. That joint was like that joint was truly half alien, half people. Listen. Yeah,
Apparently, this is
that
a
was a good
spaceship
movie.
from the Arnold movie.
Okay.
With the Arnold Predator, this was the ship in the Arnold Predator movie. This was the ship in the Danny Glover Predator movie.
Okay. See, different parts of the alien civilizations.
Then this was the Predators with Adrian Brody and Lawrence Fishburne. Predators, what do they call it? Yeah, Predators.
Yeah, Predators.
An Alien versus Predator. We saw a glimpse of their ship right there in the rain. That shit was crazy. Then AVP Requiem.
Yeah,
we saw it from behind there real quick. And then the Predator. That was the newest looking like Knight Rider and shit.
Yeah, I was getting ready to say.
Yeah, and then Prey.
And then Prey. Yeah,
that's what we saw.
That's the crab-like ship. Yep.
Yeah,
so like I was saying, there's different sectors, just like in our civilization. There's different types of predators. So you have different,
and it's gonna be different type of ships. Like we got battleships, destroyers, aircraft carriers, all kind of shit.
That's gonna be tight. I mean, I really hope that I'm quite sure they did that, dot their I's and cross their T's, because that Prey thing definitely hit the mark where it's supposed to be. Because at first people was like, the Predator's gonna fight some ancient people that don't have advanced weaponry.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Well, they see humans as more advanced than any animal they've ever seen.
Yeah,
so if they're gonna hunt something, that's where they saw it back then.
And they found out that but it's also subliminal in a way too. It's like man is the most deadliest creature alive. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like we destroy everything, basically.
Real.
You see what I'm saying?
Get us
I was
mad
telling my sons,
Put us
because
in the
they
corner.
was talking. Me and my sons were
Yeah.
talking. I was like, humanity gives nothing back to the earth. We take from the earth.
We're more like we're more like a virus,
We're parasites
a parasite,
to
yeah,
the planet.
virus. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I was saying every other creature gives back in some way back to the planet, except for us. We don't
It's
give
almost like we're not from here.
back. Exactly. Exactly. This is what I was breaking down to my sons. And I was
Yeah.
like, planet hopping is a thing. Trust me.
When I was a kid, I used to believe that, I mean, not that I don't still believe it, but like I came up with when I was a kid, I was like, you know what? When the aliens saw Earth, they came to Earth because it was rich with hella minerals, uranium, gold, all this shit that they can use and need for their ships and all this shit, right? Whatever. They came here to mine that shit.
Yeah.
And so they came down here and they had workers, miners, slaves, and they had them mine on the Earth.
Mm-hmm.
When they got what they wanted and they left the motherfuckers here who mixed with the primate, that the Cro-Magnon, motherfuckers, caveman, Earth type, ape looking human, Lucy motherfuckers, and got today's, what they call it, Cro-Magnon or Homo sapien. Yeah.
Mine is something like that, but it wasn't mixing with the Cro-Magnon because the DNA is different. I was just saying, bringing it back in. If we bring it back to the mathematics of things,
well, I feel like we're so related to the primates of Earth that it seems like, but yet we're so alien too. Like if you mix like a gray, like a super alien motherfucker with like a primate, we're kind of in between. The missing link. Whatever. That was my theory when I was 13. So.
I was breaking it down similarly. That shit. Anything could be, man, because we don't know the actual truth, man, because we haven't lived in that. You know what I'm saying? Or from the beginning.
Nobody knows. Yeah, nobody knows.
There's somebody who knows. Guaranteed, there's people who know, but they're not going to reveal that. Why? Because they lose that power.
Right.
Because that is power, knowing the origin, the true origin of man.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We could be coming from other planets and shit, and still have communication with other planets.
Imagine that shit.
But we wouldn't know that because we're the slave caste.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Exactly.
So
it's crazy, man.
Exactly. It's crazy. But the Alien Earth show, it says, is about a mysterious vessel crash lands on Earth, and a young woman played by Sydney Chandler and a ragtag group of tactical soldiers make a fateful discovery that puts them face to face with the planet's greatest threat. Alien Earth is set in 2120. So about 100 years from now, a time during which 5 corporations, Prodigy, Weyland-Yutani, Lynch, Dynamic, and Threshold, wield the power of nations, and proprietary advancements in technology provide the promise of a new tomorrow. God damn, this sounds like the type of shit I love, man. This is the shit. Who stars in Alien Earth? Yeah. I don't know who Sydney Chandler is. Alex Lothar, Timothy Oliphant. I know who that is. He's cool.
S.C. Davis.
Samuel. Yeah, that's Timothy Oliphant.
Yeah.
He's in a bunch of shit. He's super cool.
Yeah.
Samuel Belkin, Bebu Casey, David Rashtani, Adrian Edmondson. I don't know any of these names other than Oliphant. But
Barrel, Mo Barrel.
I think I recognize him.
There's a lot of young actors in this. They have to have some young actors in this.
Yeah,
because
gonna be a lot of British
and because in Romulus, all the actors were young. There was no, they were all young.
Yeah, I love that Romulus, man. That was a heavy movie. That was solid.
Romulus was heavy, yeah. And they also fixed a lot of things that they broke in past Alien movies with Romulus.
Yeah,
that was their goal, and at least they have a plan and direction for Aliens now, which they didn't before when they made. And Prometheus was good, but there were a lot of unanswered questions. And then the second one after that, it just left even more untangled threads just loose that we were like, all right, what happened this? And why is this like this? And so they cleaned it all up. They started cleaning it up. And Prometheus is, I mean, Romulus is basically that street sweeper that cleans up all of
Yeah.
the loose threads that they gave us through these movies where the directors just didn't follow the lore. And
Well,
that
not
they
even following the law. They were conflicted on, because most direction and writers, they can run on tangents. So they
yes,
have to stay focused at a certain time frame and in a certain frame. Because if they want to film everything, because most directors and most writers want to do everything. Trust me. They want to do it all because it's so fascinating and they want to get the vision totally out there. But they got so many minutes of time to use, so they try to crunch as much as they can, but then they have to leave little breadcrumbs here and there to refer you to this, so later on when a new director or a new writer jumps on it, they can continue in some form of fashion. But in doing that, some writers lose the intentions of the previous writers, so that's where you get the disconnect sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
But
another cool thing about this show, though, real quick, is that apparently there's going to be more than just the alien monsters. They actually are revealing multiple monsters. Yeah, it says that. Let me see here. In fact, let me just show you.
Legion, oh man, I love that show, Legion, man.
Yeah,
I wish
Noah Hawley.
I wish they could have continued that on because I was seeing it on Sci-Fi Channel. That shit was tough, man. You know what I'm saying? They had the movie Legion, and then they moved it on to a TV series, which was tight too, based off of that. And
Android
it was getting too deep for
physically
humanity to see that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So they had to cut it because it was getting too deep, because they was getting to the truth of the matter with that. You know what I'm saying? And they cut it off before they can really drop the science. Like, oh, we don't need you to know that the Nephilim and all these people really are here. They are here. And the DNA is here.
Right. That's right. That's okay. That's okay. Slade. That's right. That's exactly what happened in Romulus. Yeah, the family.
Right.
It is tied directly to Alien and Prometheus.
Right.
Yeah, with the Weyland Yukari recovering the xenomorph that attacked Ripley, an alien from the USS Nostromoto. That's true. An alien named Rook. Okay, yeah, because Rook was the name who physically
That was the
resembled
guy that
Adams.
shared the consciousness with Ash.
Yeah, that's one Ted the capsule. Yeah,
And the black
first
goo
film.
from Prometheus,
Yeah,
right?
Prometheus. Yeah. Okay, Slade. Okay.
Yeah, Slade, he up on it.
There's some heavy shit, man. Predator, Alien, man, is solid franchise.
Salute. Yeah, absolutely, man. And they're building a great, a nice shared universe here. Since now Disney owns everything. FX's Alien Earth video teases multiple monsters.
But they also don't have Kathleen Kennedy messing up their stuff. So that's a plus for them. That's a plus for them.
Quickly, I just wanted to chime in real quickly on that Predator 2. It was funny seeing Joshua and what you call it in the same movie again. From Lethal Weapon. Okay.
Oh yeah.
I was like, whoa. A Lethal Weapon reunion of sorts.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, here we got some black goo mixing in with some
DNA.
eggs. Yeah. Gestation of the alien.
Yeah, man.
This is from the new show, Alien Earth.
Okay.
There we go.
And I look at all this stuff, as, I mean, it's great, and it's also subliminal at the same time, man. I look deeper within all the sci-fi stuff, because implanted in a lot of these movies is the truth of what we're dealing with now, as far as the DNA. Like when people took that shot and how it recombinates your DNA because it's an RNA. You see what I'm saying? So you look at it like, okay, now we're developing new species of man. Now we're trying to. You know what I'm saying? Then you got cloning going on. You got wild stuff going on that, we may not see it. They'll shoot it out there in the news stream for a second. Oh yeah, we just cloned 2 ducks already. Like, okay, and a human arm, and then they go to commercial break real quick, and then you're like, okay, you don't ever see it again. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So it's like, but
Uh,
they drop it in the shows and in the movies. You're like, hold up, what's going on here? Like the tech. If you look at all the technology we have, there was always dropped 10 or 15 years beforehand, before we actually seen it in our hands. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
So if you look at
Yeah, right.
drone,
Anything you see in the movie, yeah, a lot of shit you see in the movies comes out 10, 20 years later in real life.
look at the
I
Terminator.
mean, sci-fi has always been that way. I mean, even 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. Like,
Yeah.
Jules Verne was talking about spaceships and submarines way before they were ever fucking possible. So
Facts.
it's the same. It's still happening today. Like shit we see, like Star Trek with the flip phone
Oh,
in the
hell
fucking 60s.
Yeah.
and watch with what's his name?
Dick Tracy. Dick Tracy.
Dick Tracy. You know what I'm saying?
With the
And don't forget,
smart watch.
don't forget the Jetsons. Don't forget the Jetsons with video calls.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but it also begs. I'm gonna get a little trippy on y'all real quick. Who's giving us this technology? Because if the history of man hasn't, like, we're still savages in a sense, because we can't even really articulate our emotions and our thought patterns in a more logical manner.
Yeah, we can't even fucking handle our shit.
No. So you mean to tell me we come from this big ass computer, which was a whole room, down to this phone or down to this watch? What creates this? What technology? This is not the thought of, you really have to be a superhumanoid to come up with these ideas and implement this technology. Who's helping us with this?
They just kept figuring out how to make chips smaller and smaller. How to put more put more electric nodes on a smaller piece.
Yeah, but we have microchips. What machine creates the microchip? That gotta be a super machine itself. You know what I'm saying? Like, on some real, like, y'all go buggy sometimes over this. I sit and ponder this shit. I'm like, somebody got to be helping. Some entity has to be helping and man advance, because we're still savages in a sense.
Well, yeah, I mean, think
about the Wild West, that wasn't long ago, bro.
Right. Well, that's what I was gonna say. Like, if you look at the last 2,000 years, look at the last
years ago.
Yeah, if you look at the last 2,000 years of humankind, right?
Last 100 years, bro.
No. I mean the last 2,000 years. Okay. Yeah. Not much changes up until the last 100 years. That's when shit starts.
Yeah.
No. I mean technology. That shit don't really start happening until the last 70, 80 years. Not
so
real.
You mean to tell me all this time up to that point, motherfuckers came down to decide to help? Like, yo, all right, we got to push these motherfuckers along here. Excuse my language, because these guys here bugging out.
Yeah, or you can say that, once certain shit was invented, now exponentially shit's gonna happen, because once the steam engine came, and then the printing press, and then exponentially that helps other shit grow, and then then eventually, more and more shit that gets invented makes other shit go faster and faster.
It's like having our images on screens and stuff. It's like,
I mean, now we got a computer, so now AI is going to start building shit even faster.
If you want to really put a finger on it, I can help. 1947, the Roswell crash. They say, and this is true, because even when I look it up, it is true. They say that we didn't get things like the microchip, the transistor, the improved transistor, and things like that, and computer boards until after that crash, that the military or the government claims didn't happen, or they just kind of like say it was a weather balloon. But they said that after that crash, and if you look at all the advancements we made in technology after that. You gotta think, we invented the microchip, the computer board. Computers got a little smaller, even though they were still big as room, but their processing power was faster. They
But
were able to do different things. We started inventing cell phones. Cell phone technology has been around since the 60s. So from 47 to 60, that ain't too far from each other. That's a
Right.
realistic reverse engineering type thing that you could do if you found an alien craft that had more
but
advanced technology than you have here now.
here's also the kicker. Like what Social Mania and Rax is saying, but you have to have somebody there to help you re-engineer that shit because the
Not
regular
necessarily.
human mind
Not,
can't do that
not
shit.
necessarily. Not necessarily.
Well,
Because if you did,
reverse
if you
engineering,
did,
no.
look at it like
What
this.
Sosa is
If you
saying, he's
did,
not
it
talking
would be
about
more
nobody
advanced.
helping you. He's saying reverse engineering. Like if you find the technology and you start, like when you find, like when a little kid, you took apart a radio to see how it worked.
Yeah.
See
Like
how it
that's
works?
what
Yeah.
they just found the shit and started reverse engineering it by like taking it apart, seeing how the shit is built and trying to
But
I mean,
figure out
think
how to
about it.
work
that's
it
just
Think
like
themselves.
about it. We had, if you think about it, we had
Or
after 1947, we had
the Grays
significant, and I
yeah.
told
mean
Tesla,
significant.
But in order to
Listen,
reverse
after
engineer, you have to understand the language of that machinery that you're reverse engineering. You
I mean,
saying
you
you
could,
already have to
but
have
you can
that
or
figure
you
it out,
tinker with it
right?
until you figure it out.
Or like Sonzanima said, or tinkering until it worked, because that's what. If you think about it,
you
look at
still have to understand
1947.
the language.
It,
You have
all
to
right,
still
well, okay,
understand.
well, you do.
No, no,
Let's
no.
just say you do. Let's say you do. Let's say you figure it out. You do. But after 1947,
Yeah.
when you realistically look at it, we made major advancements in technology after that year. There were
Yeah,
none
I'm
before
not
that.
debating that. I'm not. You're
There were none
absolutely
before that.
correct on that. You're absolutely correct. I'm not
Yeah,
debating
that's
that
when
at
the
all.
alien, that's when the big
All I'm
alien.
saying is
That's when
we have
Roswell. That's when the
alien
Roswell
creatures
crash happened.
helping us. We have alien
It could be.
creatures
Could
helping
be.
us,
It
literally,
could be like Men in
or
Black.
helping abolish
It
that
could
fear.
be. Yeah, it could be like Men in Black. We don't
Yeah,
know. Because
I
where did
Listen,
mean,
it
somebody get
stands
that
to
idea
reason
from?
though. It
Where did
stands
somebody
to
get that
reason that
idea from to begin with?
if an alien crash, if an alien craft crashed in Roswell, that his homies, the other aliens, know. Like when we have a plane crash, we know where that shit crashed.
yeah,
Air traffic
Exactly.
control is on it, and it's the home base.
The black
Like when we
box,
send a
right? The
rocket ship
black
out,
box and all of
we
that,
got
right?
Houston. Yeah, it's a
they're like,
problem,
yo, you
Houston.
got our
Yo.
homies here. They crash
They're like,
because
yo, it's a problem, Houston. And the
you know
aliens
what
then
I'm saying?
came down and they like, what's going on? And they checked and it was like, oh, okay, you got people. It's a civilized shit down here. And they done found our homie. They done brought him in the little bunker and shit. They got NASA and shit. They oh shit, they didn't drop bombs on
Yeah.
Hiroshima. They didn't figure out how to split the atom. We might talk to these. You know what? And this Earth, this planet they got is mad valuable. It's the only planet in gajillion miles that got water and large vast quantities
Gold,
of water,
war.
ocean,
Mhm.
and all these other minerals and shit. So this is an important, very important planet. It stands to reason that the Galactic Federation, the fucking aliens, of all the different guys. Because listen, once you start space fearing, you're gonna meet the other space fearing species, and then they're all gonna know each other eventually, and there's gonna be
Yeah.
a big galactic federation of motherfuckers that all travel space. And so, you know what I'm saying? That they gonna bring us into the fold once we stop beating, stop killing each other and killing
Yeah.
the earth and figure shit out.
Or they might not bring us in the fold because
Or
they
they
know
might not.
they probably know we're slaves to another race of aliens.
Or they
Either
want our
that,
planet and they gonna wait till we kill each other and die, and then they just gonna take the planet.
yeah, that too.
Or because they can travel through space faster than we can and get to places, we don't matter. I mean, think about how big the universe is.
Why
It's
would we
vast.
matter? It's the
So, like,
planet that
why would
matters, not us.
well, well,
Exactly.
oh, that's true, but that's thinking in human terms. That's thinking on a
No, I'm
linear
saying
scale that
I'm saying
humans would
in a
think
in a
about.
in a
If
no,
you
no, no. I'm thinking from the aliens point of view. If you are in the galaxy, and obviously planets that are rich in all these resources like Earth are very far and few between. We got the Hubble and we still ain't found another one. So obviously
well,
they're rare.
that's because the universe is so big. Finding a
Right,
planet like Earth is like finding.
right.
It's like all right, like you say, finding a needle in a haystack. It's
They're
like
rare.
finding. You know what? It's like finding Major Blood's gun in a haystack,
Mm.
inside of a haystack, inside of a haystack, inside of a haystack. That's what it's like. Take one of your GI Joe figures, take their little black gun, and throw it inside of 5 haystacks. That's what
Yeah.
finding another planet like Earth is because the universe is so vast. We don't know how big it is, and we can only see but so far. So the Hubble can only see but so far. But if you go further than that, you might find 10 more Earths. You might find 20 more. You don't know. You might find an Earth-like planet. You might find a planet that's like Earth, where it just got vast oceans, but we can't breathe the air. But the
But
water
that's
is
not
good. You
my
might find a
point. Is
planet that's
that
covered in
my
ice.
point is
If a
that
planet's covered in
my,
ice, that means it has water. And if it
my
has
point is
water,
that
you can throw that
it's
ice out and make water.
the Hubble can see many planets, many thousands of planets, bajillion million planets. None of them are like Earth. So I don't care how far it is. The numbers wise, we know that it's at least rare enough that we can't see one from where we are. So we know it's at least
Nah, I can't
somewhat
say that.
rare.
I can't say that. I can't
So,
agree with that
What do you
because
mean? There's
the
9
universe,
planets in the solar
the
system, and
uni-
only one of them is like
the
Earth.
uni-
That
let's
shows
bring
you right
back,
there. It's rare. What are you talking about?
that's it.
let's bring the real.
There's
Because
no question it's
you can't
rare.
put
We're only
rare. You can't
shown.
put rare. You can't say rare in the universe that's so big that you can't see it all. The Hubble
Yes, you
telescope
can,
only
because I
sees
can
this
see a
much.
bunch of
It only
other
says
planets, and none of them are like this one.
Hold on. Let me break it down for both of y'all.
It don't matter how far
Let me
you
be
out.
the devil's advocate.
But
Let me
but
put that hat on.
let's just say if we live let's just say if we lived on Mars, right? You could say the same thing about Mars. There's no other
Let
planet
me
in
put
this
on the
solar system
devil's
like
hat, though.
Mars.
Let me put on the devil's
A lot
hat.
of other planets like Mars.
I can show
it's not.
you
Not
all
in this
what
solar
you
system.
need.
Thousands of
Definitely
them.
not in this solar. They're
Hey,
definitely not in this solar. This
but
solar
check it
system
out.
is dominated mostly by
Yeah,
gas
every other
giants.
planet
Once you
is.
get
It's
past,
true.
once you get the Venus on out, it's all gas giants until you get to
Hey,
Pluto. Tell
Reno,
me I'm wrong.
but check this out. Who's feeding us this information, though? Maybe it's not even real, B. Maybe what they're seeing
Like the
shows
flat
us is
earthers,
just some
like the flat
bullshit.
earthers, like the flat earthers. And according to the flat
It
earthers,
don't matter.
we
Maybe we
all
live
wrong.
on a
We
disc.
all wrong. We all
Maybe we
wrong.
live on a
According,
disc with a tree.
No, we don't
according to them,
know.
we
That's
all
the
wrong.
whole thing. We truly don't know. Because we're presented with stuff that's given to us. It's not like we're going and exploring ourselves.
Yeah, I
Shit,
mean,
when we get
technically,
to a certain point in Antarctica and north of here in the North Pole, as soon as we get to a point, the military is stopping us.
yeah.
No,
I mean,
you
but
can't
by
go
that
back.
respect, I've never been to South America. Maybe it doesn't exist.
We don't know. We could all be one landmass, and they're just playing us like we ain't.
Well, yeah. I know people like my grandmother's traveled all around the world, so I can trust that these places exist because I trust her.
Exactly.
And some people are related to the guy that flew to the moon, and
Mhm.
they trust him. And so it
It
just
I mean, I've been to South America. It does exist. It's there.
okay,
right.
but we've been
Right.
on planes. We haven't traveled like the old time people would travel by horse and then by boat, like along the way. Eventually, we take the quick route.
Yeah.
Well, look,
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Well, now if you get a
I mean,
pilot's license, you can
listen.
fly over the
I
Antarctic
give
and
you.
see
All
all
right,
the
look. I
fucking
give you something. I
volcanoes.
give you something to chew on. I give you something to chew on that'll make you really
Like
think.
Africa is bigger than every
Look
country
at
on the planet,
look
but
at the hydrogen
the
bomb.
map shows
Look at the
otherwise.
hydrogen. Look at the hydrogen bomb. Right? We didn't know. We didn't know the atom existed. We didn't know the atom existed before Einstein said it did. Nobody knew it existed. As a matter of fact, they laughed at Einstein when he brought up the fact that even making a hydrogen bomb, splitting atoms. They did not know those molecules existed before he invented. So that was like World War II. So that's like 1940. So that's like 1940 something. So what? But this is this is real. This is real science. This is what really happened. This is real talk. They literally thought space was flat, like a piece of paper, until Einstein showed them that it wasn't. We had to have a solar eclipse, and that's when he showed them, like, look, if you see each planet casts a shadow on the next when the sun comes in between them, when there was like an alignment of the planets, and that's how he proved to them that that space wasn't flat like a piece of paper. They were scared to go, and that's in the modern century. That's in the modern century that we didn't know these things. Like you said, photons, we didn't know they existed until Einstein proved it.
In modern history, but in ancient history, they knew this shit. That's what I'm saying. They knew this shit already.
Joe Rogan.
They know this shit, bro.
Joe Rogan.
All this shit. We're the
Let
ones.
Joe Rogan tell it.
But
You know
we're
what
the
I'm
ones.
saying? We're the ones
But
that
we're the
don't
ones that
know.
harnessed it. This century is the ones that harnessed it and used it for used its potential
When we go to
to either make war or make peace.
Tartarian world,
Well, the Tartarians and shit, you don't know about the Tartarians, you know what I'm saying? They,
we go to the Tartarians.
They had the
Still got their
technology,
monuments.
but the question is like if
Copper
they had all this technology, and now it's all been buried by sand and time and all of
they
this
have
shit.
No.
How did we-
Look at the cathedrals and with the copper towers. We got one here in Plainfield. We got copper tower buildings.
Oh yeah, and it's
those-
mad shit.
That's
Yeah, I mean,
electricity conductors.
and there's all kinds of theories why all these temples and pyramids and shit that are all over the earth actually line up and meet geometrical patterns on the planet when these cultures never could have met or connected or even knew each other existed. Like one pyramid in Egypt matches a pyramid in South America, built in a time when motherfuckers didn't travel.
And in America, the pyramids over here. There's like
all over the earth,
thousands of pyramids in this country.
And you can connect them, and they make geometrical shapes from space, bro. It's shit beyond us, man.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. So those
you don't know everything.
Power,
you got all the answers, Sway.
The somebody has all the answers, but they're not going to present it to us because they feel that it takes them out of their power structure.
Right.
When
knowledge is power is the most true statement ever uttered.
So like this, check this out. When you see an alien ship come down on this planet, everything else is null and void now. Like, fuck a paying the bill, fuck doing all this. These aliens just came down, my G.
Right, everybody.
I ain't worrying about no car insurance and none of that shit right now.
Religion out
none
the window.
of it. Because
that whole
alien just landed. That changes everything.
The whole corporation.
Stock markets are freeze, everything. Because nobody's going to be concerned with none of that shit. We're going to be concerned with the aliens that come here. And we're going to find out friend or foe or creator or destroyer.
I think, when you say how everything in movies like foreshadows technology and all of that, it's the same thing with the aliens and all that. Like, we're so comfortable, I think, with this stuff now, with Ancient Aliens on History Channel and down to every alien movie and everything. I think that at this point in time, humans now, or maybe my grandchildren's generation, it'll be so normalized that when the aliens come, motherfuckers will be just like, oh, what up, man? Finally, what up?
I'm waiting for people to shed their skin in front of me.
V and shit.
At that point, oh yeah, I was here, B. You know what I'm saying? I had to hide because I didn't want y'all to kill me and shit.
Yeah.
You humans are uncivilized, man. We're trying to mix with you guys so y'all can be civilized, man. Shit happens.
Who knows? But if they do come and they do, I believe they've been here. I just don't think that
Souza said something real fly.
Made themselves.
Peep that out. Peep game on that right there.
Yeah, I mean, if you go down to the microscope, and I mean, insects, period, are crazy as fuck. Insects ain't like nothing else on Earth. Think about an insect. Their bodies are made up differently. Their guts, their organs. It's a very weird creature that has nothing to do with nothing else. Reptiles, amphibians, birds, mammals, these are all pretty fucking similar. They think the same. They all got two eyes on the face. They all got a mouth, ears, and a fucking, you know what I mean? They're very similar. With all their differences, they're very similar. Insects are from another goddamn planet. You got shit under the water, bro. I mean, it's crazy, man.
Shit is real, man. And there's species that we haven't even discovered. That's what's the mind-boggling thing about this whole existence, bro.
You ever see this show? There's a documentary called My Octopus. Something about my friend octopus or my octopus lover or some shit.
I see
like
that. That was on Disney Plus. I watched that whole thing. It was good.
Bruh. Octopus are just as smart as fucking dolphins or monkeys or damn near smart as people, bro.
They're just as smart as humans.
Yeah,
basically in a lot of ways. And they definitely form bonds.
But you got to categorize it because they're as smart as an adult human. Because a pig is as smart as an 8-year-old child. Right. So a pig has the equivalent intelligence of an 8-year-old child. They can. Right. So if your 8-year-old child ain't smarter than a pig, it's something wrong.
And most people think, what are you talking about? Well, they don't have vocal cords and tongues and mouths. They're not going to be able to speak and communicate. And you're not going to know how smart they are until you do hell of experiments and shit. So it's not going to be that obvious. Dolphins can't walk around and talk to us. We didn't know how fucking brilliant they were at first.
but
I
they can
think
talk to each other.
I
Yeah.
think the most intelligent creatures on the planet is, they're all intelligent because they have their roles and they play them to the T. Humanity is the only creatures on this planet that don't do shit but cause havoc.
Yeah, we don't live with the planet. We live on it.
We live against it
Yeah.
when we should live with it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
And that when they say
And, but listen though, we
not.
say that raw talk, but there were culture like the Native Americans, ancient tribes. They lived with the earth.
Of
And they
course.
lived with the earth so much they migrated around. They were nomadic. They moved with the seasons. They moved with the buffalo herds. You know what we do? We stay in one spot. And we use up all the resources now until it's dry. Then we go to the next spot and use up all the resources. That's something we do now because we became hunter gatherers and we started making civilizations and staying in one spot. And then that shit, trash and pollution, all that shit builds up. And we're actually supposed to move around like the Native Americans did. They knew how to live with the earth. They and we
and there was always a time to hunt, a time to plant. You didn't go and hunt crazily and kill without reason.
Never
there was
waste.
Always a reason. My family
use every single bit of the
a
animal.
reason.
Yeah.
There was
No
never
way.
a reason not to.
Hey,
Oh, Stu, you got to get ready for
fellas,
it.
I gotta roll out. Yeah, I gotta roll out, fellas. But I'm gonna be on the chat, so I'll be catching. I'll be watching. Yeah, I'll chime in from the chat.
Yeah, because like Seminole, my family background, Seminole Indians and Choctaw Indians, right?
Mm-hmm.
And there was always a time to harvest and a time to hunt. And then on this continent, when it became winter here, you traveled west or south, right? Most southern. That's how you do it. And then you come back.
Right.
There were travelers in between. So there's always a time for that. We got out of alignment with nature. So once we come out, and this is what these predators and alien, if you look at the subliminal of predator and alien, they're just nature fighting humanity at this point.
Right.
If you look at it, the alien is acting off instinct, the predator is acting off its instincts, but it also has a human element because it thrives off a conflict.
Right.
So
and
you could say predator is really man's conflict with violence.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So if there's no violence, there's no predator hunting because there's no adversary to hunt.
Right.
Alien is just straight off. I'm here to kill and multiply.
Yeah.
That's it. You
just mindless.
So that's why I reached so deep into these movies, man, because I've always been like this since I was little. I'm like, yo, there's something more to this movie than just the movie. There's a lesson to be learned in this.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Hell yeah, bro.
Always push that out.
Hell yeah.
Even with the Terminator, that movie was a lesson. Do not go beyond what you're capable of, because once you reach past a certain limit, there's no going back. AI is made. There's no going back.
Yeah. Nah. There's no going back. It's going to continue. It's going to exponentially grow and become more and more advanced and more self-sufficient.
Exactly.
And there's it inevitably will see us as a threat. So we'll see what happens.
I mean, when they made the Terminator and the Matrix, the one lady who created it, because they're both one and the same. One is more spiritual, the other one is more scientifical. The way she put it, where I gather from reading her stuff, and it's like it's wild. She breaks it down, but when you see it step by step in every chapter that she wrote, it's happening literally now. I'm like, this is madness.
Yeah. Yeah. It goes down like that.
Yo, it's madness, man.
Hell yeah.
But we have I think man has a self-destructive part of them too. Like you want to see if this can happen, let's see if it really will happen. I don't think it will, but let's try it. And then when it happens, oh shit, we fucked up. You know what I'm saying? Like,
now.
You had the warning. Leave it alone.
Yeah.
Now we're gonna be
Well,
like the Borg. So
yeah.
Elon Musk, he wants everybody to be like the Borg.
One mind and shit.
Yeah,
Hive mind.
Neuralink, we're all together in the hive.
Fuck that.
Motherfucker crazy.
I cast off the chain, man.
Yeah. Neuralink. And then they started promoting that in the movies. Neuralink, my Neuralink. See what I'm saying? Get people comfortable.
Jacked in. Yeah, man. Well, it's all about the future and shit. But
I want to say one. I know I'm talking a lot because I haven't been on in a while. Peep this show called Paradise on Hulu.
Paradise.
It's called Paradise. The guy from it's about the end.
Oh, I watched it. Yeah, I watched it. I saw the whole shit where they have the underground volcano city. Yeah,
in Colorado.
That shit was crazy, bro.
And they really have one of those in Colorado, bro.
Mm-hmm.
They really do have that mountain opening in Colorado.
Yeah, that's a good fucking show, bro. That was a good show. Speaking of good shows, man, there was a really, really good show that came out back couple 2 years ago, I think. It's called Visions, and it was a Star Wars show, animated joint, and we got to see what the samurai version, because George Lucas always said that he got the ideas for a lot of his stuff from the samurai and the samurai movies, and especially with certain helmets and armor that you see and the lightsabers and all that. So they made this series called Visions, and it was all different animated shorts made by anime artists and anime writers, where they kind of fed on that sort of samurai. And so you had this one character here named Ronin, who is this dope Sith Lord character who appeared in the first season of the animated anthology Star Wars Visions. Well, season 2 came out and it was pretty much whack. It had nothing to do. It was nothing with the samurai. There was no ninjas. There was no anime. It was just lame. No one liked it. Big letdown, because I love Visions a lot, and so huge letdown. Well, huge upset. Well, now Visions season 3 is getting ready to come out, and of course we're like, I don't know what's gonna happen here. Well, we got news. We got great fucking news, and exactly season 1 is gonna continuation into season 3.
All right, so Ronin season Warrior 3, without a master.
We going right back to the Ronin Warrior, and this is gonna come back on this 3rd season on October 29th this year, Disney Plus. And the big reveal obviously came in Star Wars Celebration event in Tokyo, in a panel dedicated to this hit show, where Vision's executive producer James Waugh confirmed that 3 of the most popular storylines from the first show, The Duel, The Village Bride, and The Ninth Jedi, will be continuing in the upcoming 3rd volume of episodes. So I'm super excited. He revealed that this whole bold new direction for Visions, with the introduction of the Star Wars Visions Presents banner, he said, which will be giving filmmakers a chance to tell deeper and more long form stories without the constraints of the shorter runtime of the typical Visions episodes. And so first up will be a spin-off standalone series of The Ninth Jedi, which is going to come out sometime in 2026. So it's going to have its own series, and The Duel is going to have The Duel Payback. It's going to be the sequel. It's going to be called The Duel Payback, where the director Takanobu Mizumo from anime studio Kamikaze Douga, The Lost Ones, is a follow-up to The Village Bride, which will be helmed by Hitoshi Haga of Kinema Citrus. So Naoshi Shiotani of Production IG will direct The Ninth Jedi, which is a follow-up, the follow-up of Ninth Jedi called Child of Hope. So this trio of filmmakers talked about their episodes and showed designs for new characters, much to the delight of the crowd. And there was a 4-legged AT-AT with a Japanese building on top, like a pagoda etched in. Everybody loved that shit. So this character on the screen here, Ronin from The Duel, has proven to be quite popular with Star Wars fans around the world, inspiring statues and even a Hasbro Black Series figure. And I am like super duper torn right now, because I really want this Black Series figure, man, but Man, I think it's gonna sit there for a while because the price point's crazy. They want $69.99 for that bad boy. And again, it's just a Black Series figure. So I don't know how they're justifying it. I guess it has a cloth robe and a lot of cool effects and details. It comes with a whole, R2D2 type droid with a hat, like a straw hat.
Yeah,
This droid from the show. And I mean,
that
it
looks
looks
dope,
it's
man.
fucking amazing, bro. I can't lie. I mean, and the packaging is thus. It's not the normal,
Yeah,
Black Series
it's a
box.
great
It's not-
collector's piece. I mean, and
yeah,
then they give you the whole layout and stuff like that when you open the box. I
right.
mean, if I was heavy into Black Series, I still get it. If I was heavy collecting the Black Series, I would get it.
Oh yeah,
Just
yeah.
based off of that, man, it's just dope. And they're gonna come back and give you the color version, of course. But
You think?
yeah, of course. They wouldn't be Hasbro, you know.
I mean, there is no color version. The show was black and white, if I'm not
Yeah, but
mistaken.
I'm saying they're gonna give you a more vibrant version. They got to use the mold again, bro. They got to.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
yeah, yeah.
But I do know they renewed with Hasbro with the Black Series and shit like that.
Mm-hmm.
So they're going full fledged all out again. They trying to recoup some losses. So
Yeah,
this
yeah. It looks like he comes with a. Yeah, he's got the sword. The looks like maybe it's like a flintlock pistol, maybe, or a dagger of some sort, and he's got of course, the sword, cloth, soft goods robe there.
yeah, the pants look like something from Vader, and the belt. If you look at the
Yeah.
how, you know what I'm saying, like
The
Vader,
stripes. Yeah,
yeah,
the lines. Yeah.
mate, and that's their interpretation. I think it's dope, man. Ronin, a warrior without a master, a soldier without a master.
Mm-hmm.
That's very interesting. It's dope.
Yeah. It's interesting how this lightsaber has a whole sheath.
Mm-hmm.
Like for what? What are you putting in the sheath? The lightsaber goes up in the handle. That's
Or
cool.
maybe
Though.
it's, in their interpretation, it charges the lightsaber.
Or it stays in the sheath. It's like the whole thing just stays out all the time, and you have to put it in that sheath. So yeah. Maybe it doesn't retract.
Mm-hmm. True.
Yeah. But I don't know, man. It's definitely one I don't want to pass on, but it's gonna take some.
I mean, you
some
just gotta sacrifice 2 figures. That's really what it is. Like
pretty much.
It's just 2 figures, man.
It's just 2 figures. I mean, yeah. Well, 230,
Because
$40.
look, the R2 unit, when they did Black Series, didn't R2 come by itself? So that
this would be a whole figure. Would be a $24 figure. Usually they're 24. So technically, 2 figures is like $50. This is a whole extra $20 more because of the packaging, the iconography, the black and whiteness of it, the soft goods. There's a whole lot of aspects.
Mm-hmm.
But it's
I mean, I would say get it because if you're
available,
a hardcore collector, bro, get it.
Oh, I'm gonna definitely get it. But I'm gonna save up for it. I'm not gonna buy it in one whop.
Yeah,
like I'm not gonna buy it in one paycheck or nothing like that. I'm not.
And this is a pre-order right now.
No, that's the thing. It's in stock. Like it never came up for pre-order ever. It just dropped.
That's crazy.
So you order it, you're gonna have it in a minute. Yeah, that's crazy. Okay. But it's on Hasbro Pulse. It's on Amazon. Both.
That's what's up.
But yeah, the packaging is pretty cool.
That Ronin, that poster reminds me of the movie Ronin.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Uh-huh.
I like that.
Oh yeah.
And then you got the blood stain on the moon.
Right.
Stuff like that. That's crazy. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah. It's a nice piece. I mean, if it was $10 cheaper, I would feel better. But I'm not gonna be mad about $10. It's worth it. It's worth it if you like I said. I mean, I have a really good Black Series collection, really good.
Nice.
But
I used to have one, but mine didn't go back. I wish my Black Series went back to when they were started in Toys R Us, because I seen it in Toys R Us. I have the first Luke. I had the Leia. What else?
Right.
I had
I
I had them in the box and stuff, but then I had got rid of a lot of it. I mean, I had a ton of Black Series, but I didn't have the full original joints like that. If I did, I would have gave up. Back then, I probably would have gave up or never pursued Classified and just stuck with Black Series.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? In that regard, because then, but who's to say? But
they just reissued a brand new Han and Chewie. They got a new farm boy Luke. They got a new Leia in the all white with the curly Q, like the OG Leia. Like they just re-put out. So I really would like to get that the OG, 4, because I don't have any of them. I started doing them like a lot of men like Boba Fett, Mando,
do I still got my Mandos and shit?
I got a lot of Sith, like a lot of the Knights of the Old Republic, and I got Vader and the Emperor and all that. I got a bunch of Sith. I got the Force Unleashed, dude. Couple of Rogue One joints, all the Cad Banes, shit like that. I like a lot of those characters. Jedi's, Siths, and I don't really fuck with the clones, like the main troopers and shit. I don't bother with those. They're just a bunch of repaints. I don't need 500 different colors of the fucking drone armor.
Yeah.
But Visions 3, man, it's also at the panel. Masaki Takabana of the anime studio Kinema Circus previewed, and especially kawaii addition to the Star Wars universe for his installment Yuko's Treasure. And this episode's young female protagonist will be accompanied by a huge bear-like droid with a microwave built into his belly. And the reveal of the character in a short clip played in the convention hall drew a lot of delighted applause. And Hiroyasu Kobayashi of Project Studio Q discussed the darker and more mechanical world of his installment, The Song of Four Wings, which took the 4 blades of an X-Wing as its center motif. And he said, we're a studio that specializes in the creation of mechanisms, so we're really focused on the essence of the old Joe Johnston designs and featured a lot of droids and mechs. And so he explained while showing a still that featured an anime riff on the AT-AT Walker with the Japanese building on top.
That reminds me of, remember Batman, Samurai Batman?
Batman Ninja, yeah. Well, they just did a sequel to that.
Yeah, the first one was sick. Enough.
Sequel's dope.
Yeah, hell yeah. And
they come to Earth and they come back home, and the moon has the Batman Ninja world on it, and like then there's like this feudal Japan Batman Ninja version of the Justice League. There's old there's Flash, there's a Green Lantern. Yeah, so it's dope. It's dope. It's real good.
But remember how a Joker had that whole fucking joint moving and shit like that.
Right.
Bump. That reminds me of that.
Well, yeah, he had one. So now we have one where the Flash has one, Green Lantern has one. They're all like dymos of their own little units and shit.
Nice.
And then Superman is the big bad, but he's really controlled by who was it? I want to say Joker. And then Wonder Woman is the only good one, and she helps Batman and shit. But it's good, man. It's real good. Yeah, it's every bit as good as the first one, I thought.
All right, I'm gonna check it out. Definitely.
Yeah.
If it's it dropped already.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I gotta peep it out.
Yeah.
I'm gonna peep it out ASAP. I got to.
Yeah, no, you got to.
The art in it is spectacular. Everything's spectacular about that, man. I'm like, yo,
oh yeah,
wow.
Yeah, that's a must see right there. Trust me.
I thought they was gonna have his remember he had a Batmobile technically with the horse and carriage.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I want that. I was hoping that they make that, but they never got to it. Because remember it went to McFarlane right after that. Like not right after, right after that. After that, that Yeah, that universe or whatever, that DC multiverse, it went to McFarlane because it was with
Mhm.
Mattel. And that's
Yeah,
when they did the build a figure Ninja Batman, Batman Ninja, what have you.
right. Yeah, man, and this Visions show is it's all these shorts and shit.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but there's a spin-off coming out of the Visions show that's going to be its own ongoing show called The Ninth Jedi. Yeah, and let's see, Volume 3 release date and a new Star Wars Visions spin-off series. So a long form. So if you love the short form, the Visions shows like I did, but they were really short. Like
Yeah.
now we're gonna get to see an ongoing series of one of those shorts. And that's really cool. So it says Star Wars Celebration in Japan. They announced it. They said he invited the Ninth Jedi writer Kenji Kamiyama to the stage, who thanked the audience for support of enthusiastic adventures of Kara and Juro in the Ninth Jedi and the upcoming Child of Hope. He then announced his plans that fans will watch Kara's journey continue to unfold in an all-new spin-off called Star Wars Visions Presents the Ninth Jedi. He said, I made a short story called The Ninth Jedi during Volume 1. Director Shiotani is making one more film for Visions Season 3 called Child of Hope, and it ends with Kara's departure to go look for her father in the first short film.
Yeah.
And then, of course, that's where the season, the ongoing series will pick up. And says, Star Wars Visions, The Ninth Jedi features lightsabers that change color depending on one's force, according to Kamiyama. And so Kara's father invented these lightsabers and has been kidnapped. Kamiyama said, "What in the world was the reason for such lightsabers? I think it will be a story where those secrets will be told." And Kamiyama concluded, explaining that he'll be working with in capacity of supervising director on Star Wars Visions Presents the Ninth Jedi. Hell yeah!
Okay,
very exciting.
Can't wait for that.
Hell yeah!
I gotta finish my indoor stuff. I mean, my Andor.
Man, Andor was so great. And speaking of Andor, Andor really spilled over into the Dawn of the Jedi. So this comic series here, the Dawn of the Jedi, is largely referenced in Andor season 1 and just again in Andor season 2 when they referenced the Rakatan invasion, the Rakata. And they had that Easter egg. And then they also had well, first let's talk about that because there is also a Knights of the Old Republic Easter egg too. But the Rakatan invasion officially happened at the Dawn of the Jedi, the Jedi Order. So 25,000 years before Luke Skywalker and all that. So they talked about the Rakatan invasion on Andor. They said it took place 25,000 years before. And then the show referenced to a temple figure that had been stolen from Chandrila 25,000 years earlier during the Rakatan invasion. And this cemented that the Rakatan invasion coincided with the founding of the Jedi Order around 25,000 BBY, or before the Battle of Yavin, which is the whole Luke Skywalker thing.
Yeah.
So prior to Andor, Star Wars canon had yet to officially give this timeline any credence in any movies or shows or anything like that. It was just part of this comic series. And so now, well, Star Wars Legends had indicated, so now there's a new movie getting ready to be made called Dawn of the Jedi, which is based on this comic series, Dawn of the Jedi, and is going to have the Rakata and the the Dawn of the Jedi. And so Kathleen Kennedy and Charmaine Obey, they're trying to make the writer of that movie somehow make the Dawn of the Jedi 25,000 years ago connect to Rey in some way, which is just absurd because 25,000 years ago it's not supposed to connect to anybody. If you look at those comics, they don't connect to anyone from the Skywalker movies or anything like that.
I think they try to make it connect to Rey to give us some to
give her relevance, right?
Relevance. And also because Rey herself is just a enigma out the blue, and they try to tie it to the Emperor because she's a Palpatine or
Don't try
whatever.
to make her make sense, dog.
No. I'm not trying to make it make sense. I'm trying to say their thoughts on it so they can get people invested.
I'm just kidding.
Yeah. They want to get people invested in it for that fact, not knowing that they're beating a dead horse when you use Rey. Let Rey be in those three, and that's it. Get rid of that notion. Don't go back to her. She had her time. It's over.
It's over.
Get to the real ill spill of the other shit.
And it's not over because she was the worst character ever, which, hey, but it's over because there was not enough interest in her character that people care or want to see more. There's like Star Wars fans are not clamoring for the next Rey story, not by a long shot. We're all cringing and dreading the fact that we're gonna have to sit through another Rey movie.
And if you look at those last three, it was totally rushed for money. It was a rush for money
because those movies,
back that they gave to George Lucas. I mean, they paid George Lucas. I'm not gonna say they didn't give him nothing. He sold his rights.
They bought it,
and they bought it. They wanted to make good on that investment, which they should have kept him on as true consultant until, because there's at the end of Jedi,
I should have done his script.
There's a space there. We didn't see the development of Kylo Ren. We just came up on this motherfucker.
Yeah.
Because
that's not where the story goes. That's not where George had the story.
But, I mean, if they thought about it, truly thought about it, and really wanted to anchor it with the nostalgia of the other series, they could have started it from there instead of totally killing off everybody like crazy or whatever. Or they could have built a new foundation with Kylo Ren.
Yeah,
that could be your next conflict right there. Instead of rushing Kylo Ren to fight Rey, who appears out the blue sky, I mean, without no real backstory. At least when Anakin appeared, we knew who he was from the original story. We already knew he was Vader, but we wanted to see how he would develop into Vader.
Right.
So we want to see how Kylo Ren developed into who he is. Why did he get influenced by wanting to be part of something where his grandfather ultimately left? You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
You could have did that. That would have been more interesting than just, girl power or what have you. You could have introduced Rey at maybe in the middle of the Kylo Ren story. And probably introduce her as a love interest, trying to turn him to get him away from the Sith. You could have did something like that. And that's when the conflict, but they don't, I don't know. They don't think.
Well, nah, bro. What they should have done was George Lucas had plans for a character that they based Rey on. I mean, he had plans for a female character like Rey who was going to be in his trilogy. Much the same shit was going to happen with Luke. Luke even did the whole thing where he was going to be a hermit and not be a Jedi anymore. George was going to write that into his trilogy, but it was going to happen gradually in like the second or third movie. We weren't going to just the first time we see Luke since the fucking old he's an asshole now. No, he was going to be Legends Luke, fucking, super fucking Jedi, running the Jedi Order and had his own thing. That's how we were going to be introduced to him. And then over time, he would, that story would gradually happen, and they could have had their Rey character that was going to be the main character. The big, instead of Snoke and Kylo, it was going to be Darth Maul and his apprentice, who is the Twi'lek. I keep forgetting her name, but there's a new Maul show now. That's a new animated show called Maul is coming up that is going to play all that out, where he's going to have his apprentice, the Twi'lek apprentice from Luke George's thing, and it was supposed to be a whole different story, where similar to what where they got their whole idea for the First Order and Kylo and that whole thing was in George Lucas's script. The Empire, the stormtroopers and all those generals and fucking admirals and armadas and all that was still out there, and they were still way way out in the galaxy and their posts and shit. A lot of them didn't even hear that the war had ended and shit. And so, but yeah, eventually, they became warlords of their own areas, and that First Order would have just been one of those remnants of the Empire that built up its own little warlord, fiefdom. And then there was going to have the Hutts and all the big gangs and the big gangsters, the organized crimes and big bounty hunter shits, and the whole thing. It was going to be great. They blew all that to make this super Disney remake of Star Wars and big cash grab, and it was all corporatized and totally heartless and soulless, and then that's why it never succeeded.
They don't know how to branch off properly. They could have did what Lucas said, and then that's when you get
J.J. Abrams made one movie, and then they bring Rian Johnson, and he makes a whole different movie, and then they bring Abrams back to fuck up the other.
It made no sense. And then you think about the Boba Fett, and then you think about Mandalorian, where they fit in. They could have fit in well with if Lucas would have continued his thing, because once they became, the like you said, with the warlords and stuff, that's when you have Boba Fett come in. Yeah, because that's his world.
Right.
Period. He's a scoundrel. He's the scum. Exactly. He's part of the scum, man. So,
the whole thing that we're getting with these Disney shows are basically like Mandalorian, this Maul show coming up, the Boba Fett show. Those are all loosely based on George's original sequel trilogy, his sequel trilogy ideas. So, we're kind of getting to see the stuff he thought, because Dave Filoni is his apprentice, George Lucas's apprentice, and so he knows what his plans were. And so anytime they allow him to create a story, he's just going to use that George Lucas shit that we all been wanting to see and make it up and tell Disney that, look what I made. And it's just George's shit that they fucking should have done in the first place. But the Gorman Massacre. So have you seen Andor yet?
I seen.
You haven't got to see it, you said.
I ain't get to see it fully. I seen the first few parts, and I'm so tired, man, working, I fall asleep. So this
season 2, you mean, right?
Huh?
You saw all season 1, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So in season 2, we got to see the first 3 episodes first. They dropped 3 episodes, and then next
only
week
seen half of the first.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I believe it's right in the first where Orson Krennic, played by Ben Mendelsohn, my homeboy, he's got his special hand-picked group of Empire people, and brings them into a little enclave, and he's telling them that they're hand selected for this super top secret.
And they show him a film and shit. Yeah.
Showed a film, and on that film they talk about the Gormans, and that's the planet Gorman, and there's the Gorman spiders and that whole thing. Yeah. Well, all that shit is from Star Wars Legends. Surprisingly, the Gorman Massacre hasn't yet been shown on any screen, but despite it being a pivotal event in the history of the rebellion, first established in the Legends books, this was one of the key events leading to the birth of the Rebel Alliance and one of the Emperor's worst atrocities. It seems that this bloody event may finally make an appearance in Andor season 2. It happens in Legends, and it's like a massacre of this whole planet and
their resources and everything. Yeah,
and they massacre all these people, and basically there's a rebellion now, but when they do this, that's when hella people. That's when the rebellion explodes, and many rebels, many people become rebels because of it. So. That's what really sparks off the rebellion, and so that's cool. That's a Legends tie-in right there. So all that shit where Kennedy trying to make Legends not be canon, Dave Filoni and the insiders at Lucasfilm, they've been slowly peppering Legends shit in all along with all these shows. But Yavin 4 has now finally been shown and name dropped multiple times in Andor. So the trailer suggested that Yavin 4 would appear in the new season, but we've now gotten to see that. And um, the Padawan braid was there's sort of a parallel to the Padawan braid we see in the marriage ceremony that we get to see in Andor. There's a little bit of a nod to that, which gets cut off, but you'll see that. You have this new TIE fighter prototype.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, that shit is dope.
He got caught though. That was crazy because he went to see his man that supposedly landed there, one of the the resistance, and he was like, "Yo, I was here before you guys got here." And
and they're just a bunch of rebels that don't know who he is.
Yeah.
They don't know. They think he's a. Yeah, that was good.
That funny. I was like, "Yo, well, hold up, okay."
Yo, I almost pissed myself when he got in that bitch and hit it in reverse and fucking crashed into the wall. And he started bashing around inside the hangar and shit because he couldn't fly this new plane because he gets on the ship and he's expecting to see a chair and some controls. And instead, there's no chair and there's like 2 control modules. And he's like, what the fuck is this? And so he walks up and
raises up.
Chair comes up and shit. Yeah. But instead of like a normal, steering wheel, there's like 2 separate hand controls. And so he doesn't know what the fuck. And so he's like, he thinks he's getting ready to go forward, but he goes in reverse.
Yeah, and it alerts everybody.
Yeah.
When he blew old boy buddy up with the rocket, he had the rocket. He was getting ready to get. He's like, boom! I was like,
yeah. So it's a very reminiscent scene of the scene where Poe Dameron and Finn escape in Force Awakens with the TIE fighter. Yeah.
But it looks good, man. And it's the strongest of all the series on that they put out on Disney Plus. It's the strongest, and they continue to be strong because it has substance to it. It's not just all action. Even though we love the action, but we want a great story, and we want tie-ins and breadcrumbs here and there, and get us interested and stimulate our mind on what we already know exists. That's all you ask for. And Kennedy should have understood this. This is, you want success. You don't want to be hated for even though she had success in her career, she's no slouch. But disappointment comes when we know this shit.
Right.
She knows this shit.
She knows how to do better.
But she's doing contrary to what she knows, and we like, come on, man. We want to celebrate you, not hate you. You know what I'm saying? Especially a woman executive that knows some motherfucking sci-fi and shit like that. Come on, you're a diamond in the fucking rough. You're not like some slouch girl who don't know shit. And, I want to put pink Jedi clothes on. No, none of that dumb shit. You know what I'm saying?
She knows better. She really knows better.
She would have been.
I felt like she was mad at somebody, but no, she can do her thing, and hopefully, apparently she's not going anywhere either. So,
the undisputed queen of sci-fi, she did it the right way and let it go, roll it, let it pop. She would have been celebrated to the world's end, like for real.
There's another Easter egg here from Andor too. This guy's insignia right there on his shirt. That right there is the insignia for Project Stardust, which is the code name for the Death Star project. And that sort of gives us we can see now what kind of
Death Star symbol right there. Like, because the Death Star, you look at it, that one midpoint right there, the laser point.
Right.
Yeah.
And so we get a little easy. That's a little foreshadowing there because we all know that Andor leads up to Rogue One, which leads up to the Death Star, and but
they're actually building it now secretly.
Yeah, well, this is the Ministry of Enlightenment is this Star Wars concept that shares a name with the Nazi Germany's Ministry of Propaganda and Public Enlightenment. That was the Nazi thing, and so George made the Ministry of Enlightenment, which Star Wars has always been, based on and inspired by real life wars, like World War II and stuff like that. And so that group, these guys here, this becomes the Ministry of Enlightenment in Star Wars, and they're the ones that make the Empire, make the what do you call it, the Death Star and all that stuff, and that famous line from Palpatine, where director Krennic, the guy that is leading this meeting, he refers to the Death Star as access to stable, unlimited power, which is a subtle callback to Palpatine's declaration of unlimited power. Yeah, yeah. And the TIE Interceptor sounds, those sound effects, those are straight out of the video game Star Wars Battlefront 2. Yeah, so that's cool.
I noticed that with the shooting and stuff like that. Even that ship itself looked like one of the ships from the game.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah, there's there's a little connection between the summit and one of the summits, the Krennic summit, the ministry, the whole meeting there, and the Bad Batch show. So in the first 3 episodes of Andor, we had director Krennic hosting this sort of summit that is quite different from another scene in Star Wars, the Bad Batch, where in the Bad Batch, Tarkin led a summit with Krennic in attendance. And Krennic mentions Tarkin in this.
Yes,
he's like, Tarkin don't even have clearance for this shit.
Yeah, and he's supposed to be the raw deal. Yeah,
he's like, he said everybody in this room, he said all your superiors and co-workers don't even have clearance for this. So like, this is a super tight secret circle, and he holds this summit and insists that it be kept from Tarkin entirely, showing his intentions to make this sort of power play, and which is yet another connection to Nazi Germany, also bearing a clear resemblance to the Wannsee Summit, which was an influential meeting, laying the groundwork for the Holocaust. So, and this is laying the groundwork for a Holocaust-like genocide with the Goran planet. Yeah. And those range troopers from the Solo Star Wars movie, we got to see walking through the hallways again. That was a little throwback if you caught those guys. Just if you're one of the people that like follows the different kind of troopers, snow troopers and range troopers and all that.
Yeah, I mean,
the Sinar test facility, that lab, we heard that before in Star Wars Rebels. So the whole lab where Cassian is, where it starts out in the beginning, where he steals that TIE fighter from, where he steals that
girl got to plane the key to the ship, because she was one of the people that stole the information for him to get into that ship. Yeah,
right. Yeah, that place. Well, that place was called the Sinar Test Facility, and in the Star Wars Rebels show, there was a Sinar Advanced Project Lab on Lothal, which served as a design and testing facility for Sinar fleet systems. So a major Imperial arms supplier, the Sinar. So a little throwback there. There's a lot of little parallels to Rogue One, like, little lines like Andor saying, "You're coming home to yourself," also delivered by Cassian to a rebel fighter, and then also when Cassian tells Jyn Erso in Rogue One, "Welcome home," and so then you had there was a familiar location as a password, and there was a password. Catherine, which was used as a password, and that's also an Easter egg for Rogue One, which is the location where Cassian Andor's Star Wars story begins. But there's a lot of little shit like that. Little Easter eggs and shit. There's an Indiana Jones reference in Luthen's gallery. You have there's one shot of the fake Holy Grails from Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. Uh, one of the fake Holy Grails can be seen. The cup is there in Luthen's gallery, where the previous Indiana Jones Easter eggs were also shown.
Well, that's crazy how they mix a lot. They pay homage to each other, and
Yeah.
that franchise. Like we said with the Predators and Alien stuff. I mean, that's what they do, man. It makes it
And it's
interesting.
all George Lucas, Indiana Jones and Star Wars. He did
And
both.
Steven Spielberg, you know what I'm saying? He's a major
Steven
part of
Spielberg too. Yeah. Him, Spielberg directed Indiana Jones. Lucas wrote them. It was
and then he did the sound, Lucas sound.
ILM did all the special effects and shit. But
Yeah.
there's the Grail, the goblet there in the middle.
Yeah, there you go. Yep.
Yeah,
That's crazy though. But that you see, like, that's crazy. To me, that's like, yo, hold up here. So this been around since. That's why when it's like these guys foreshadow their own shit. It's like they plan this shit like distinctly. Like you see that there, and then you see the title a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, okay, so this cup been around and settled here.
And Lucas put E.T. aliens in episode 1, right? So the E.T. aliens from the whole Spielberg connection, which Lucas wanted to say, like, E.T., them aliens, that's what and then if you look at all the shit E.T. did in that movie, that's some Jedi shit to do. All the powers he had, he was able to heal, he had mind tricks, like he did a whole bunch of Jedi shit, bro. Levitation, force push. Yeah, bro. Don't fucking think, bro. You can connect that shit if you want to. Yeah, man.
It's heavy, man. It's
alien. Like, imagine E.T. was just a fucking Padawan somewhere.
You never know, man. It's just like when you get older and you start seeing this and they start putting more information out, you're connecting the dots, and you like connecting the dots because you grew up on this stuff, and you're like, yo, this makes it even better. Better. It's like, yo.
That's why I love all that lore shit, man. I like all those. I love when they explain shit. You know, we see shit that they were talking about.
And it's funny when we're growing up, you look at all these things. Who was the true big baddie in World War II? It was the Nazis. In World War I, it was the Nazis. And you look at all
World War II was the Nazis.
Huh?
Nazis was World War II.
Yeah, Nazis were they were in World War I slightly. No. Yeah, because it had in Germany.
Germany was in World War I. Nazis didn't exist yet.
No, but they had the undercurrent until Hitler got into power. There was an undercurrent there.
The Kaiser, it was a different guy and everything.
They wanted to kill the Kaiser. There's a whole bunch of shit, a whole bunch of story behind killing the Kaiser in Russia and shit like that.
Yeah.
So that was violation number one. But
Kaiser's Mustafa.
Yep. But with the troops and how they were, you look at the costuming of the Empire. Then you look at our G.I. Joe stuff. Look at Cobra. In the different cartoons we had, a lot of villains
resemble the Nazis. Yeah.
Trapjaw and He-Man.
Bro, I mean, it's the biggest villain that we can that ever happened in real life that we can think of. Yeah, like that. That's the best reference to go. Crazy. Yeah, I mean, the stormtroopers. That's what Nazis were called, stormtroopers.
Yep.
That's what Hitler called his SS, the stormtroopers.
Yep. And then the Air Force was called the Luftwaffe. The
Luftwaffe.
Yeah. So
I think Rogue One is one of the best Star Wars movies by far. It's my third favorite Star Wars movie. Period. Like, and Andor is very similar. And it's like, but it's like a backstory to a backstory. That's what's so deep about it. Like, Like Rogue One is a backstory kind of behind the scenes of A New Hope.
Yes.
And Andor is a behind the scenes prequel of Rogue One, so it's like a layer inside of a layer.
Yeah.
Bro.
And I think if we really get to the gist of a lot of stuff, man, they could do a lot with those behind the scenes moments and stuff, like relationships. Even when they try to do it with Solo, which I think they could expound more on Solo. You know what I'm saying? His relationship with the Hutts and stuff like that, because he worked for the Hutts. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's like, why not get deeper into shit like that? You know what I'm saying? Let's get into it, man. I think it would serve them better, because now you get people more interested in, okay, now we got the foundations, but we're going deeper than that. You know what I'm saying? I think they, like I always say, they should do a Stormtrooper show based upon how, how shit was.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? These guys, they were men and women, right? The Stormtroopers were mostly men, of course, before they became clones, right? Or after they became clones.
After,
It was
yeah.
after.
First they were
First
clones, then they started just hiring dudes.
Yeah. So think
They're a
about
lot
the
cheaper
conflict
than
of those
clones.
people going into this, like, yo, we're losing the battle where we got the rebel forces and our weaponry ain't right, man. I can't even shoot this joint accurately. Like, yo, that'd be funny. At the same time, like, these guys, yeah, you know, I came in with Bob. Bob's dead now because his shit didn't go off. Like, yo, the and even with the rebels, let's get the, you know, even though they had rebels, let's get to the real grunts of it. Not the let's
Not
get
the
to,
Admiral Akbar's.
yeah, let's get to the real, the troopers aspect of it. Like, yo, we in this shit, man.
Yeah.
We're not officers, we're not Jedi, we're regular people fighting for this, you know what I'm saying? This power struggle. Do a show like that too. I mean, Andor touches on that though.
Yeah.
But let's get to it on some like really active members or some crazy shit, man. That'd be funny. It'd be comedy as far as the Stormtroopers. I would love that as a comedy in a way. Like, these guys are like, yo, man, I went through basic training, man. And
No, it'd make a good show. It's a good idea. Like, you could do a whole series about it. Like like any boot camp or some shit. Yeah.
yeah, you know what I'm saying? Think about it in this manner, like our Starship Troopers when they were going through basic training and shit like that.
Right.
But it was comedy in a sense, like, yo, this is like really wacky how they got these people training.
Yeah, I mean, you can do it. Yeah, you can have a whole show.
You know what I'm
Train
saying?
and die. It's a crazy, yeah.
They're training to die. Like, come on, you're not gonna beat a Jedi, but you're still gonna try to bust shots at a Jedi.
Yeah.
Yo,
These motherfuckers look crazy, bro. These that's the Rakata right there. And I said something earlier I want to correct. They were actually first mentioned in the Knights of the Old Republic video game. They were first mentioned there. They were expanded upon, and we got to see them at their height in the Dawn of the Jedi comic series. This is a picture from the Dawn of the Jedi. That's what they look like. And they were Force users that, or, you know, dark side energy users, and like make the Sith look fucking like nice guys.
The Knights of the Old Republic may have gotten excited by the mention of the Rakata, and that's a theory for a more qualified Star Wars lore expert. But
there's the statue right there that they reveal in Andor, and they say this is a temple statue that was stolen in the Rakatan invasion that we've returned or some shit. So
the timeline enthusiast that I am flipped out when this Shanti Merle was said to have been stolen 25,000 years ago. That's a very specific number. If you open your copy of Star Wars Timelines, as I'm sure you all have already, I can't be the only timeline geek out there, the spread on page 10 lists the only 2 events we currently know of within that 25,000 years ago time frame. Why are they significant? Well, they both have to do with the early formation of what would someday become the Jedi Order. And fascinatingly, when is James Mangold's film set to take place? Mangold told MovieWeb the Star Wars movie would be taking place 25,000 years before any known Star Wars movies take place. Is it a coincidence that this Shining Merle was stolen around the same time period as the Dawn of the Jedi film? Let's put 25,000 years into context. You've probably heard the comparison that Cleopatra VII, the last pharaoh of Egypt, lived closer in time to the creation of the iPhone than she did to the building of the pyramids on the Giza Plateau. Those pyramids are believed to be almost 4,600 years old.
It's crazy.
Nefertiti lived closer to us now than to the creation of those pyramids.
That's crazy.
That's what I was talking about earlier when I was like, the amount of time that we've been here in technology just happened in this little shit at the end.
We're in a blip with the technology.
Yeah.
And that's why I said we had to have help, because why did it take so long to develop this stuff? If we had civilizations that were advanced in morality and scope and just enlightenment, you understand?
Yeah.
They had their own way of technology. Why? Or did they have it and something happened cataclysmic to destroy it? Floods.
The Rakata came, man. They fucked it up.
Exactly.
Is almost older than our real-world Great Pyramids. So is it just a coincidence that this seemingly random object, the Shining Merle, happens to line up with this movie? Or is this a case of Chekhov's gun being introduced into the wider Star Wars narrative, awaiting greater payoff in the Dawn of the Jedi film? Let's dig even deeper. What does Chandrila have to do with the formation of the Jedi Order? Well, nothing, as far as we know, but there are some intriguing similarities in cultures and traditions. This artifact was taken from a temple. It's a temple figure of 12. Jedi aren't the only ones to build temples, obviously, but the word temple in Star Wars is almost synonymously linked to the Jedi. That's what comes to
the temple at Octo.
Star Wars. But Chandrila also has temples. So what? Well, notice what else Devil Sculpin mentioned. 12. 12 is a hugely important number in numerology and mythology. The 12 labors of Heracles, the 12 apostles of Jesus, the 12 zodiac signs, the 12 Olympian gods, the 12 tribes of Israel, 12 months in a year. The number of 12 is often associated with completeness or divine order. So the fact that Chandrilan temples also have this numerological background is fascinating. What else in the Star Wars universe is intrinsically always 12? The Jedi Order, specifically the High Council. When one member steps down or dies, another takes their place. But for the High Council to form a complete governing body, 12 individuals are traditionally needed. No more. No less. Do you think it's a coincidence that this Shining Merle, an object that appears to have a stylized resemblance to the physiognomy of the Wills,
with Anakin, the Jesus-like character, and the 12 disciples
featured in the Clone Wars, was written to be one of 12? Or could this be symbolic of the Jedi Order's origin? What else do the Chandrilans traditionally needed?
Whoa. Wait.
That appears to have a stylized resemblance to the physiognomy of the Wills, featured in
that's what it's a statue of, the Wills. The Wills were what George Lucas wanted to introduce as like
the light,
the God, right? The force and all of that shit, the beings and the spirits and everything. And so yeah.
Wasn't it also in the lore where Darth Vader? There was some they were talking about Darth Vader absorbed all the Sith energy and became God like himself. I forget. There was I gotta look it up again. There was something where he
I didn't see that one.
Yeah.
I didn't see that one.
It's an alternate thing. It's not nothing of real canon or what have you. It's just a what if type thing, I believe. I'll look it up and I'll send you the shit, the link.
Yeah, let me know.
Interesting.
Clone Wars was written to be one of 12, or could this be symbolic of the Jedi Order's origin? What else do the Chandrilans and Andor share with the Jedi Order of the prequel era? Well, their ceremonial garb is strikingly similar to the way Jedi layer their cloaks, tunics, and belts. If this shot of Demo were taken out of its context within Andor, you'd probably think he was a Jedi in ceremonial robes. But more impressively, Both cultures use the cutting of the braid as a rite of passage. When second cuts Leeta's braid, it binds them in marriage. This is very similar to the ritual in which a Jedi is promoted from Padawan to Knight. Their Padawan braid is cut, ceremonially marrying the individual to the Force as a Knight of the Order. What I'm suggesting here is that it's quite possible the early Jedi and the early Chandrillans have a common ancestry, one from which these traditions have stemmed. So is the Shandy Merle, or Chandrilla for that matter, connected to the dawn of the Jedi? I think there's a high possibility they might be. Consider who's currently co-writing Dawn of the Jedi with James Mangold. None other than Beau Willimon. What the record for? Lucasfilm is absolutely sprinkling the seeds for what's to come in this new Star Wars era. And I think this was our first big glimpse, outside of Octo and the sequels, of course. What do you guys think?
Bro, Mon Mothma is the shit. Wait till you see her hitting shots, bro, and getting down.
Absolutely sprinkling the seeds for what's to come.
That's her. Going nuts, dancing to the EDM. And took a few shots.
In this new Star Wars era, I think this was our first big glimpse, outside of Octo and the sequels, of course. What do you guys think? Am I onto something here? Please be sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
Shout out to the guy with that information. I forget the
Geek Time. Yeah.
Geek Time. Yeah, shout out to him for that information.
Oh no, what is it? Geek Critique. Yeah, Geek Critique. Geek Critique. Yeah.
Yeah.
What he said. Every time the Acolyte broke canon. But yeah, check his channel out.
Yeah.
He's featured here. His shit was featured on this show, Screen Rant, or this article here. But yeah, it's the Easter eggs are crazy. Andor is laying it on, man. Andor lore is nuts. It's linking up to some really cool shit that's gonna be very, very cool when we get to see it all go down. There's also a new show or movie rather coming out called Starfighter with Ryan Gosling and the guy that made the Deadpool and Wolverine movie, the director Sean Levy, is doing a Star Wars movie called Starfighter with Ryan Gosling. That should be pretty fucking dope. That's
Starfighter.
Yeah, Starfighter. I mean, we know there's a video game called Starfighter. I don't know if it's
gonna be called The Last Starfighter.
Yeah, there's a movie called Last Starfighter. Yeah. But yeah, it says Star Wars Starfighter follows a 15-year-old boy on a mission with his uncle, played by Ryan Gosling. They're being pursued by a duo of villains, one male, one female, Jesse Plemons and Jodie Comer, who were initially offered the villain roles, but both declined. Mickey Madsen was later approached for the female villain, but also passed. Another key role is the boy's mother, possibly Gosling's sister or sister-in-law. It's unclear. Sarah Snook was offered the part, but turned it down. Greta Lee was considered for another female role as the cantina owner and the leads encounter on their mission, but she too declined. It's not. There's no specific story details on why they declined or anything, but several Hollywood actors turned down roles in it. The movie will reportedly have significantly smaller budget than the previous Disney era films and is described as a more contained story. Levy has been developing the script with Jonathan Tropper from This Is Where I Leave You and The Atom Project since 2022, and is also set to produce a Via 21 Lapse along with Lucasfilm president Kathleen Kennedy. Following the massive success of Deadpool and Wolverine, Sean Levy, the director, is reportedly viewed by Disney as a must-have, must-keep director. So there's a good chance he will have a significant amount of creative control over the movie. And with what he did with Deadpool and Wolverine, I'm thinking it's going to be, a lot of cool fan service, a lot of cool callbacks and Easter eggs and lore. He said, I'll say that the experience of crafting this story has forced me to think about that question. last year when he was asked what he hopes to bring to the table with his his movie. He said, because there's only so many times that Star Wars movies can revisit the same section of the timeline. So it's really forced me, because I don't want to do a Star Wars movie that is redundant to others, nor am I interested in doing one that has to serve another movie. So it's going to be a standalone movie that won't, it'll be very much a standalone movie, which is fine. I think they should start doing more of. Star Wars, just stuff in the Star Wars universe, just a random story about some random people doing some shit in Star Wars. There's a lot of cool shit they can do. Bounty hunter stories, smuggler stories, gangster stories, all kinds of shit. And so he said, I really wanted to craft something that felt organic to me, both in tone and characters. So I think that there is certainly the force and a connection to something bigger than our individual selves, and the way that can make us powerful. Those themes combined with this visual delight and wish fulfillment, that's Star Wars to me, end quote. Yeah. And Lucasfilm also has Charmaine Obaid-Chinoy's Rey movie and James Mangold's Dawn of the Jedi film, probably not the official title, and Dave Filoni's Mandoverse crossover event in the works. And that's what's going on with Star Wars. But that's about it, man. That's our joint, man. We've been rocking for a good little while tonight, 2.5 hours. So catch us back here, guys, every Wednesday and Saturday around 7 p.m. And stay tuned for the unboxing videos that will be plentifully coming along. You can check a few out on our videos tab, and there's a couple in the live tab. But give us those likes and views on those unboxing videos. I'm trying to get YouTube to recognize that we're doing unboxing videos on the channel, so we got to stir up that action. But anyways, man, have a good night, bro.
To everybody in the chat as well for participating in information they was given. A lot of solid people in the chat, man, know their shit, and it's much appreciated.
All right. Absolutely, man. And welcome to all the new people that came that have never been before. We really appreciate you. And Soze Mania, appreciate you. Peace. Or shout out Mighty Rax, Slade, everybody, man, that chopped it up with us, man. We'll see you guys then.
Yes. Peace.